reconsider giving her the opportunity to show what she's capable of doing. And oftentimes the male, should I say male gender? I was going to say male species is favored because he's not likely to get pregnant. He's not likely to go on maternity leave. He's not likely to need to do any of those things. But he may not be as qualified or capable. And so even today, in the corporate environment, to a large extent, that still exists. Therefore, when you see a woman excelling, what we hear is, oh, she was able to hold her fort despite the fact that she was married, and, as if as if it's a feat, that is exceptional. But the woman is capable. She can, and often she does.
Thank you very much for that introduction into this great discussion. And we want to throw it over to Lady Buki. From your experience in the corporate world, what do you think is the biggest challenge? Is it sexual harassment, or is it pay disparity, or is it what we call the issues of pregnancy or lack of equal opportunity?
Okay, so if I had you right, you talked about the fact that from my own experience, I should pick one of the four things you mentioned. Is that right? I had inequality, I had sexual harassment. I wasn't too sure if I had the remaining two. But let me bring it into perspective based on my own experience. I worked in the bank for 21 years, and I rose, from a junior officer, to call it the height of my own career, to the management level, where I was actually seconded, to be the founding MD of one of the bank subsidiary. And I find myself as the only woman, when we have MDs of all the subsidiaries, we had about nine. So I was the only MD there. So I will be talking from my own experiences, and I would also narrate what others feel, But from my own experience, it was not about sexual harassment. It was more of the fact that the ideology of the people that you work with, they believe that the woman's place, if you escape the home, right, then, and you are in the corporate setting, your best bet is just a junior officer. So you now have to show your capabilities, your skills, your competencies, this is where leadership comes in, and then, of course, your results. Because where I'm coming from, data is king. What do you do? So it's not even an issue of, a subjective testing, it's very objective. So it's more like, okay, if you have done this and you have done this, then you warrant it. So, but generally speaking, yes, I consider myself privileged, but generally speaking, I know what other women, actually face. I do a whole lot of trainings now, so I see different perspectives. So some of them, like you said, sexual harassment is really big, really big, where some men just decide that, you can't have this except you give me this, But it now depends on the culture. It depends on the culture of the organization. So it doesn't cut across. Then, of course, we talk about the fact that, this unconscious biases, it's still there. And then, the cultural and societal norms, Inka mentioned it, in terms of, there are still some men that still believe that you cannot be my boss. I experienced that, but I had to manage it, that this is the boss, speaking. So we all have our different roles, So cultural and societal norms also was really big. And then, of course, from the women angle, I'll probably mention this, and then I'll use that to wrap up as well. Even we ourselves, we fight some battles. We fight self-doubt. even when a role is placed on us, self-doubt, we still say that, okay, can I actually do it? You know, talk about the fear of failure, you know, and then of course even being assertive, you know. I mean, like I said, I had to at some point had to go learn it. You know, I mean, nobody taught me, but I just knew that I just needed this, you know, to make a good success of my role. Yeah, I think I would like to stop there. Thank you.
In India, here is even worse.
Oh, wow.
Where the women are not still now given the opportunity, the gap, what we call the equality gap in the workplace is still huge and large.
Yeah.
Of course, Nigeria, maybe the data, we have not measured it well, where women and men do the same work, but women are paid less.
Yes.
Why do, what
pay more
informed,
tax.
yes, they pay more tax. What informed that idea, and why are we still here in that same discussion when women have made the height into the World Bank, leading big mega organizations, but yet we have policies that are still hindering and holding the woman back?
I always like to go back to history and to conclude with the present day. We have somebody like Mrs. Funlayo Kuti, who in her generation, where women were supposed to be seen and not heard, rose up and spoke up for womanhood generally. And over the years, we've had one or two women speaking up for women. But we are in a generation where, for whatever reason, we are not fighting for ourselves. Women are not speaking up for women. If you're a woman in an in a panel, and you do not cover other women because your position will be threatened, then we are enabling that very subtle ideology. I'd like to say, I'd been in a forum before. It was organized by women. I think you probably were there. And our expectation was that we will hold each other's hands up. But there was no holding up of any hands. It was more of my hands being high enough for me to be seen. What am I saying? Women are not fighting enough for women. We're not speaking up enough for women. The truth of the matter is that men don't have to fight for men because they already have the stage. But for us to have the stage at the degree which we can have the stage and stand and maintain our position, we need to speak up for women, we need to fight for women, and we need to create spaces for women and help women to succeed in those spaces that we have created. Not stand on the sideline and watch to see if she will succeed or if she will not succeed. We need to build platforms under other women to help them succeed without being threatened, without our positions being threatened, or without thinking that, oh, she's coming to take over my position.
Okay.
We need to do that.
Lady Buki, based on your corporate experience over the years, for you got to the top of one of the subsidiaries, like you said. In what way, what helped you to rise? You said you also had to train yourself to face these challenges that were, as it were, hindering a lot of women. Because take, for example, the woman may not have another woman to be her champion. What should she do to overcome these challenges? Because they are real. They are actually very real, and some people just compromise to get to the top. And even many women are accused that when they get to the top, they accuse them that they got to the top by laying on their back. And that's not true. We have competence. We went to the same school. The exam papers were the same. I don't remember seeing a female exam paper and a male exam paper. I didn't see the list of making a 2-1 in a separate lane. So what is the matter arising within that sector that needs to be challenged?
Yeah, I'll try and balance it off. So in my own experience, you know, when I entered into the banking industry, it happened that my managers, the people I was submitting to, were women. So that gave me an idea that if these people, not that I didn't have men, there, but more from the woman's side, well, possibly maybe because it was a bank that was friendly, maybe, I don't know, but I just had that opportunity of being led. Let me use led, because they were the people I was submitting to, and I saw them. And possibly, there could be a connect. There could be a connect because I'd actually seen my father, I mean, he rose up to be the third, then, I mean, for some of us that know NIDB, I think he became BY now, to the top of his career, it was number 3. I grew up seeing him work and all that. So, and then, of course, I saw my mom also walk through, the nursing career, and all that. So that gave me a picture. So when people, talk about, oh, this one was suppressing me and all that, it was a little bit difficult for me until I actually, got to levels where I now started relating with other women, of my peers. And then, when we compare notes and things like that. So I said, oh, I'd had that privilege. So to be honest, you did ask a question. So what should they do at that time? For me, and what I always tell people, number one, you have to work on yourself first. Because if you are coming with a mindset that, oh, I'm a woman and I cannot do anything, you already have defeated yourself. So you must stand in front of the mirror and tell yourself that, hey, you have these skills and capabilities, and also look at the things you have done before, the data, probably you've moved figures from one figure to another figure, you've opened one branch, and then whatever it is in terms of your report, can you lay hands on the things you have done? And then you can now talk to yourself that if I've been able to do this, then I can do 10 times more. So when you have conquered your internal fears, then you can now conquer the external fears. And simple. Right now, we have more people that are aware that when you as a lady, you are on top, you need to begin to carry people. You need to leave that ladder there so that people can actually climb and bring them up. That awareness is more now. Unlike before that, you are just there on your own. You probably, yes, except maybe you are privileged, to know about the likes of Margaret Ekpo, Fumi Kuti that Yinka mentioned, and then maybe histories of women, that were substance, in terms of their family. Today we talk about Susan Wellesley, how she raised their boys, and you can actually look at some other leaders. We talk of Amina. I mean, let's look at Nigerian history. We talk about the Abba women, So we have couples of them, and also even in the corporate society at that time, I'm talking of 20, 30 years ago, you could still see some women rising, not just in nursing and education. I'm even talking about, but they were very, very few. But as we speak today, I always tell people when they say, oh, they don't see mentors and all that, I say you are not looking well, because a whole lot of women are rising. A whole lot of women are rising now because they have known that we've got to help ourselves. Yes, it was a song before that women do not help themselves and all that, which was true. What was there for me to help? What was there that was even willing to help me? Even these, my managers, I just had to look at what they were doing and aspire, to be there. Nobody sat me down to say, you know what, you have to know how to delegate, except when they send you for courses. And that's why I said, even if you do not have a mentor, right now, there are many courses you can latch on. There are many courses you can latch on, be it free, be it paid. But for me, you've got to pay some. And then, of course, you've got to look for people. There are mentors. There are schemes. Today, we talk about WIMBIZ. At least that's the one I can really remember. Today, we talk about NEW. There are all couples of women that have risen because they know the effect of they leaving, the female folk. So a lot of them are rising. Even you, Reverend J, I know what you do, the stuff you put into women, because women have the DNA. It's just that the society has given us that mindset that seed is nothing. But when that seed gets to an environment that can flourish, you see the leadership in women. It just rises. We have it. I tell men that if you men, and I'll use that to wrap, if you men can entrust the life of a baby, and you will tell the woman, raise this boy to become so and so, and that boy becomes the president, becomes an inventor or whatever it is, or the child, that means that woman has the capacity, that woman has leadership capabilities, that she was able to nurture and influence that child to become great. I'll stop here. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. That was a very powerful one to push forward. Let's be sincere and talk about sexual harassment. Because some women are facing it right now. And I knew about one that I had to cancel. That she was so involved with her boss that by the time she now refused, she lost her job. So let's talk about that aspect of the challenge within the workplace. How do we begin to overcome that? And if necessary, the policy to deal with that?
I don't know if Nigeria has a policy against sexual harassment or even sexual assault. I think that women who've had to deal with sexual harassment, let's start with sexual harassment, have had to fight on their own. And sometimes they have had to fight bringing other men, and then maybe some women on board. So I looked up the difference between sexual harassment and sexual assault. She's pretty, she's young, she's ambitious, she's in the office, and there's this man who has just either believed he's falling in love with her, he has a crush on her, or he's been taught that, oh, women are for the taking, she doesn't have anything for herself if I don't get in her way. And a lot of young girls fall into that net. Unfortunately, we have a society that has taught a lot of young girls that if you don't give what you have, you cannot get what you want. So yes, some girls don't like it. Sexual harassment is walking down on a male boss, touching you in a way you don't like, smiling at you in a very suggestive way, asking you to work late, just the two of you, so that he can have access to your time, and it's legal, it's within office policy. You have to finish this work before you go home, and this work doesn't come until about 4 p.m. in the afternoon, when closing hours is at 5, so you are forced to stay in the office for a longer time so that boss can take you home, or, things that infringe on your personal space. That is that is sexual harassment, touching you, making you do things that, talking down at you. And the assault. Now, the assault is when the boss actually tries to grope you in the office, push you to a point where he's nearly raping you, or speaking to you in a very derogatory manner, so that your personal self-esteem is on the line. You look at yourself and you think you're such an idiot. Now, that is harassment, and that is emotional harassment as well. And a lot of young girls sometimes have had to give in, succumb, because maybe there's nobody else and they need this job. Mother is in the village, brothers are in school, a lot is on their shoulders that they have, but they hate it. And there's nobody to report to that will take on their case. So they grind their teeth and bear it, not because they want it. And we don't have a policy to protect them because, sorry, the person you're going to report to is going to look at you and wonder, aren't you a girl? Give what you have to get what you want or what you need sometimes. And that just enables it and is not in the girl's best interest.
Let's go to Lady Buki, and I'm going to ask you to wrap up on this. Is there a way we can push for strong policies? What must we begin to do for these issues to be minimized as much as possible, especially the issue of denigrating women within the office space and affecting them emotionally? Because some people take these emotional issues into their homes and into other parts of their lives, and it actually dampens their capacity. What solutions do you see as a way to deal with this issue? From your experience now, you got to the top. So now if you're given like a frame, what should be done from one organization to the other and at a national scale? Because it cuts across even in the political space, in all spaces, these things are happening, and it's time for us to confront it, even as we conclude. Lady Buki.
I agree that that's a space that some women, empowered women, women that understand now should actually take. And you ask the direct question, what should we be doing now? So let's look at cases that they have gone through this and they have surmounted it. I mean, they're organizations that, even if you want to do it, they will fish you out. I don't want to mention names, but I think about 2 years ago, a year ago, one of the network, providers, it was everywhere. They will fish you out. You dare not. So what have they done, which we can actually copy and also improve? Number one is you, as a woman, you need to understand your rights. So when you are coming into the organization, because we know these things happen, so it's an issue of what are your rights as a woman, what are the things that you need to know, your responsibilities. And then, of course, the institution will also now bring out a charter. That is what most organizations do not do, particularly the ones that we call one-man business in Nigeria. But multinationals, big organizations, they come up with a charter, your responsibility, how you behave and things like that. So that forms like a cover, for you. However, I also know that there are some people that will beat that system, particularly if you're a very young officer and you're working with this man who says, until you give me what I want before I get you promoted. If you are a woman of value, you will not compromise. You will continue to insist, but that does not mean that you will not do your job, because at the end of the day, your performance will show if it's a well-structured business. They will say, why is this woman not being promoted? She's been on this seat for about 5 years and we can see her report. That is why I always say that even you as a woman, you must perform. You must perform excellently well, so that somebody somewhere can actually speak up for you to say, why is this not happening? And then, of course, they also talk about relationships, So those are some of the things that we can also do, that a young person will have a mentor, in the organization. So these are things that we can actually copy, and then, of course, to also have a voice, call it a whistleblowing or a safe place. Because right now, there is a sex offender, whatever, but I don't know if it works, I know there's so much noise and let me call it voice noise, whatever it is for sex for grade, in the educational system. But also it works also for the corporate bodies, but it's just that we have not really been hammering so much on it. But this is where a safe place comes for organizations. I know organizations that are led by women, they now have such safe spaces, that just in case somebody is harassing you or somebody is assaulting you, or you feel that somebody is doing something because of this and this and this, you have a safe space to come and talk. So those are the things we can actually do. But for the places where we call a one-man business or whatever it is, well, if you can prove your mutual in terms of your performance, fine. But if you feel this is against your value, I mean, it's as bad as, well, if you can cope with it, fine. If not...
So sorry, resign. In conclusion, what do you think we should be doing? The policies, the advocacy?
I think
briefly,
the advocacy, what we need to do now, to be honest, is to actually get in the face of the government. Women organizations, WIMBYs, NGOs, women-focused NGOs, civil rights organizations need to get in the face of the government and write the policy and present it and ensure every organization should have an SOP, standard operational policies that guide the performance, not just the performance, the behavioral policies, what should happen in an office, and get it signed and make it available, and let even children in schools have it, so that from bottom to top to bottom, the girl child knows her rights. The lady knows her rights.
Thank you very much. You must remember that as a woman, you have rights. And before you go into an organization, find out if they have a charter that protects your rights. Do not just go into an organization blindly, because for you to rise to the top as a female is a daunting task, but you can't do it. You can overcome all the obstacles. You need mentors, you need training, you need capacity building. But remember, you can lead your world. You can be that MD. You can be that great woman. You can actually start your own organization and also help other women to rise. We want to appreciate our ladies, our queens in the house. Lady Adeyinka Adefope, thank you for joining us. And also we want to thank our sister, Lady Buki. Thank you for joining us this. We appreciate you. God bless.
It was my pleasure.
Thank you. On part 2 of this program, where XYZ, Generation XYZ, will be speaking to us. God bless you.
So much. I think the bill is a good one for Nigeria. And I think that the bill will be a catalyst for business to thrive in Nigeria. So my position and my perspective to the bill would be that it will be a very positive one for Nigeria going forward. If eventually the bill scale through the legislative processes and it have actually eventually become a law. So that would be my position. Thank you. Yeah, the bill will help business in different areas. Let me mention, for instance, the payee is part of cost for a business. It's part of staff cost. And for especially small businesses, which are the major backbone of the economy, the bill is proposing a reduction, that is proposing tax exemption for some category of lower staff cadre, which in essence is a cost reduction for businesses. So by that, it will help the business to thrive. Also, many people will come, by virtue of that, employ more people, which will bring a robust activity for the economy. And at the same time, there's some category of people that their tasks will also be reduced compared to what is currently in operation. So it is a positive atmosphere for business. And when you look at it from the perspective of VAT too, you also see that there's going to be zero tax on some product. There's also going to be a tax exempt on some products, especially for masses, people, low income earner. So some certain products, there's going to be exemption. There's some certain product that's going to be zero tax related. So by that, it will bring a more robust business activity. So by it, and then it will have positive effect on business and economy in general. Yeah, the argument is important. It's very, very important. But when you look at it, fix and fix, the small business, it will encourage more small business. And also, even the 50 million turnover is not a small thing for business, though it is still small relatively to the economic activity. Then, but it is a plus, right? And again, for business that their activity are more than 50 million, then it's good that they should pay tax and contribute little as company income tax to back to the economy. Now, if their taxes are used judiciously, then it will bring more infrastructure to the economy. Then there will be development in the country. Then we'll also be able to look at the advanced country. We envy them, we look at them that there are infrastructures in places, then these things are not cheap. They are not cheap. So, but the main focus for now is that is in a positive trend. It's a positive trend. I encourage that the bill should be passed and the implementation then should be followed so that it will bring a positive effect to the economic generally and the business will thrive going forward. Well, I don't see disadvantage, but I see challenge. Okay. Yeah, one of the things is that naturally, human beings were adverse to change. So if something is bringing a change, especially when you want to take us out of a comfort zone, we may not want to willingly agree with it. But for me, I think the positive and the benefits outweigh whatever probably challenge or the disadvantage we may envisage. So I still strongly believe that the bill is in the right direction for this year. Okay, I think from the angle of the value-added tax, what I would like to say in that area is that it will help the lower income earners because, like I mentioned earlier, that there's some products that's going to be zero rated, which means that there is not going to be tax VAT on them. There are some that are totally tax VAT exempted, so which means that, and these products, they are products that commonly is everybody really, but more of a masses low income earner will not with the VAT that will have been paid on it will have been an impact on them. Then it's taking off. So I think from that perspective is also a good and a welcome one. And it compared to what was proposed before, a general increase in the VAT rates across board. So this one is narrow it down to a particular area. So wherein it also exempt or puts zero rated on some product that are commonly used by the masses. So it's a positive direction. It's a good one. Yeah, okay. One, from the tax perspective, one of the very good things about this bill is that it allows that you claim input fats. VAT is what you sell, what you buy. So the net effect of it is what you remit. Then this bill also helps to claim some expenses which currently is not in operation. So it's a positive one. Then again, you mentioned the increase in the VAT going forward. Well, let's appreciate that the increase is going to be gradual. That's one. Then two, let's also remember that the VAT, some of these products, they are not going to be with VAT again. That with common people like me and you, transport, there's not going to be VAT on it. Rent, no VAT on it. Food item, no VAT on it any longer. And many more. Health, no VAT on it any longer. So you can see that the VAT is going to be increased gradually, but it's not across board. So those basic that we know is every day is already been taken care of. So I think it should give it to the people that work on this bill. Okay, thank you so much for that angle and the question. I want to say that Federal Inland Revenue Services, they are really trying. And I can tell you, there's no system that doesn't have its own challenge. But FRS, they are trying. And they are moving from those days of Alanok. Now we have tax promise. You can do your filing right from the comfort of your office. You don't need to visit their office except there is a challenge. Right? So they are doing well, but they are not yet at the best. So, and there is room for improvement. They're already deploying technology. So what they need to do is to scale up and up to the task. But currently, they are doing well. So they just need to improve. Yeah, well, it depends on the perspective you look at it. Is it shrinking? Yes, we have some companies that are no more within the soul of the Nigerian. So in that case, their taxes is no more coming to us. But again, look at other businesses that are springing forth. So definitely those are coming to the tax net. And then again, there are some companies that are not, businesses that are not in tax net. So through the use of technologies by FRS, they're already bringing them to tax net. So the tax net is increasing. So the net effect of it, you can say, is increasing. Though we have some that are leaving the soul of Nigeria. So net effect of it, the tax net is increasing. Because we have people that businesses that are coming to Nigeria, and we have people that are businesses that are already in Nigeria, but they are not in tax net, but they're already bringing them to tax net. So it's like they are looking at perspective of increasing the threshold from 25 million to 50 million, as the case may be. Yeah, so are they saying that government should also still be taxing 25 million threshold? So we should applaud the bill that give opportunity for businesses that their threshold is less than 50 million, as the case may be. So, but from that angle, if you are looking at it that the business is shrinking, I don't see from that angle. I see from the angle of if the business is doing well and you are not to pay tax, rent, then your business is becoming robust, then you exceed the 50 million threshold. Then you also come back to the tax to be paying. So it's a way of giving boost to the business. And by the time the business is doing well beyond that threshold, then they'll be able to give back to the society. So it's a win-win situation. It's like giving a kind of relief to a business for them to thrive. And when they become better, doing well, then it's an encouragement to business, which they will also come to the net after that. So it's a good one. The chairman of the
chairman,
SOUQ.
Yes. How would you assess his performance so far?
Yeah, I think Mr. Sakios is a reformer. Yes. Looking at the step he has taken after assuming the office, and I also see that he's somebody that is listening. He has a close relationship with the former chairman of FRS. Probably he has learned some of things from him, challenges that he faced when he was there. So I think he's helping the current chairman. And if you look at the revenue they are getting, they are meeting up with the target. And at the same time, if you look at the staff, I don't see much of issues, challenges within them. So those are the indices that you can look at from the performance of a leader. Look at the staff that is leading, look at the target, the businesses also, are they fairly? So I think he's doing well, but he can do better.
African languages can be the means of attaining true independence and decolonization. In fact, language is the vehicle with which culture is rightly or wrongly expressed. Culture is deeply implanted in the language of a people, but the slave trade has tarnished and demeaned the essence of our culture, language, arts, and values. African languages are catalysts for the consolidation of the African cultural heritage. Developing the various cultural heritage associated with these languages that are currently scattered around Africa is important. Less than 20% of African languages have written forms, thereby making their learning practically impossible. To redirect African languages from disuse and extinction, more enlightenment campaigns should be vigorously pursued by the various governments of Africa on the potentials and benefits of various cultural heritages in various indigenous languages. It is compulsory to promote teaching and learning of indigenous languages and replacement of foreign languages that currently serve as official languages. People gain the ability and authority to make informed decisions and implement change in their own lives and the lives of other people. It is a means of encouraging youth to do great things for themselves and also to make great impact on the people. The empowerment of youths in the 21st century in Africa ensures a lot of good for the continent in curbing poverty eradication. This is because youth empowerment can curb the rate of poverty to a large level. When a youth is equipped with essential skills, he or she can utilize them to feed or assist others and even invest for future use, aiding the nation economically. The creative industry economy or the cultural industries could be used to empower African youths in this century where everything had gone digital. These industries have a big role to play in the development of African youths of this generation. The empowerment of youths in Africa can therefore be achieved through training, loans and grants, equipment and productive environment, and tapping into culture and creative arts as tools. The new media can also be used to increase the popularity of Africa's creative economy. Social media has become a space of cross-pollinating cultural knowledge that sustained Africa in the past, hence providing a versatile space that has placed the contemporary African art forms at the center of transformative possibilities. Content creators should reproduce traditional cultural songs to reimagine alternative Africa different from the one shaped by colonial history and patriarchy. TikTok, for instance, has become a space mediating the visibility of marginalized voices within reproduced literary pieces. We must also not lose sight of the African Union Agenda 2063, which envisions an Africa with a strong cultural identity, common heritage, values and ethics, as well as integrated continent, but politically united, based on the ideals of Pan-Africanism and the vision of Africa's Renaissance. To put it best, true independence devoid of reliance on powers that are external to this continent is one of the many visions of the African Union. Literature, precisely, drama as a genre, can assist the realization of these visions. African nations should be encouraged to make concrete pronouncements on the need to use the various indigenous languages for official purpose. In addition, governments at the various levels in Africa should set aside funds that can be used for research purposes by educational and cultural institutions within the African continent. With this research, more of this cultural heritage will be developed. We should also shift attention to exploring the possibilities of utilizing creative and cultural industries as tools of African youth's empowerment in the 21st century. The choice of the youth is premised on the statistical fact that the youth form the bulk of Africa's active population, who disturbingly are largely unemployed and could be misdirected to participate in violent conflict. The youth can be aggregated as a period of human development which occurs between childhood and adulthood. Adopting the creative industry as empowerment, the onus is for policy implementation experts, non-governmental organizations, governmental agencies and regional and continental bodies to reference academic resources to policies that will frog-lift African cultural endowments to global reckoning. For a revival and for the Africa we want on Agenda 2063 to be realized, relevant mental conditioning, taking responsibility of actions, the development of brilliant insights, and anchoring a psychology of winning are essential. Chike Okolo, reporting for SOUQ News. Imagine a world without the roar of a lion, the flight of an eagle, or the rhythmic dance of ocean waves teeming with life. Wildlife is more than just the animals in their natural habitat. It is the lifeblood of our ecosystems, shaping the environment and maintaining nature's delicate balance. Yet, with each passing year, human activities threaten this balance. Deforestation, habitat destruction, pollution, and climate change are pushing many species to the brink of extinction. That is why World Wildlife Day is marked on every March 3rd, a global call to action to protect and preserve the rich biodiversity that sustains life on Earth. It is a reminder that wildlife is not just about the animals, it is about us, our survival, our food, our medicine, our future. Wildlife Conservation Finance, investing in people and planet, shines on a spotlight the urgent need for sustainable funding to protect ecosystems. It highlights the role of financial investment in safeguarding both wildlife and human livelihoods Because when we invest in nature, we invest in ourselves. From individuals to policymakers, businesses to conservationists, every tree saved, every habitat protected, and every species conserved is a step towards securing a healthier planet for future generations. As humans, let's act before it's too late. The fate of wildlife is in our hands, and in saving them, we just might be saving ourselves. Chike Okolo, SOUQ News Television.
When we talk about South Sudan, Africa's youngest nation, having gained independence in 2011, we often focus on its political journey or natural resources. But there's something else that holds deep generational value in South Sudanese lives, which is cows. In South Sudan, cows aren't just animals, they are everything. They are currency, they are status, they are identity. Among groups like the Dinka and Nuer, a man's wealth isn't measured in cash, it's counted in cows. Cows pay dowries, settle disputes, mark the birth of a child, and even the death of an elder. Boys grow up in cattle camps, learning not just to herd, but to lead. Songs are written about prize bulls. People name themselves after their cows. It's love, not ownership. And no, they don't eat them. Not casually. Cows are sacred. They are milked, admired, and even mourned. Only in rare ceremonies, funerals, farming, or great misfortune is a cow killed for food. To eat one is to part with a piece of your soul. I'm Moyosore Adibi for Just Africa, only on SOUQ News TV.
Anthony Onyemaechi Elumelu was born on the 22nd of March 1963 in Jos, North Central Nigeria, to Susanna Dominic Elumelu, originally from Delta State. Tony earned a degree in economics from Ambrose Ali University, where he laid the foundation for his future career, and then furthered his education at the University of Lagos, where he obtained a master's degree in economics. His academic journey also includes attending the Harvard Business School, where he completed the Owner of President Management program, equipping him with advanced business management skills. Tony currently serves as the chairman of Heirs Holdings, Transcorp, and United Bank for Africa, UBA, demonstrating his significant influence in the banking and investment sector. He founded the Tony Elumelu Foundation, which aims to empower African entrepreneurs through comprehensive training, mentorships, and funding opportunities. In addition to his professional achievements, he's also a family man, married to Dr. Adele Vivian Elumelu, and together they have 7 children. In 2020, his efforts were acknowledged when he was named one of Time's 100 most influential people in the world. Anthony Elumelu's net worth is estimated to be around $700 million, a testament to his successful ventures and strategic investments. Elumelu continues to be a driving force in the business world, advocating for sustainable economic growth and empowering the next generation of African entrepreneurs.
Welcome to the Midday News on SOUQ News Television, where we'll be bringing you news relating to business, economy, and development. We are reaching you live from our studios in Lagos. I am Grace Komalafe. And we start with a key move. The federal government is set to track all unpaid loans in Nigeria by linking credit scores to individuals' national identification numbers, NIN. The move aims to boost credit infrastructure and curb corruption. Speaking at a State House briefing in Abuja, the managing director of the Nigerian Consumer Credit Corporation, Credit Corp, Uzoma Nwagba, said a centralized credit system is being built to monitor loan performance nationwide. He said all financial institutions from banks to fintechs will be required to report loan data, be it a bank or microlender. Unpaid loans will be tracked and recovered. To enforce repayments, the faulters may face strict penalties, including restrictions on renewing passports, getting a driver's license, or renting property. Wagba added that easier access to credit would reduce the temptation to engage in corrupt practices, especially among civil services, by meeting their basic needs. In a related progressive MOOC Credit Corp, in a broader effort, also unveiled the Youth Cred initiative targeting 400,000 young Nigerians, beginning with NYSC members. The scheme will provide consumer credit to individuals aged 18 to 35 in partnership with banks and tech companies. Credit Corp Executive Director of Operations Olanike Kolawole described Youth Cred as a generational commitment that builds trust, strengthens financial confidence, and promotes inclusion. She noted that Nigeria needs around 183 trillion naira in credits to drive inclusive economic growth and emphasized the need for strong private sector involvement. So far, the credit initiative under President Tinubu's administration has benefited over 100,000 Nigerians, mostly civil servants, in under a year. According to corporation, the long-term goal is to reduce corruption, create jobs, and grow the economy by giving more Nigerians responsible access to credit. And away from that, telecom operators in Nigeria have announced that beginning today, June 18, mobile subscribers will begin paying directly for USSD services through their airtime. This follows a directive from the Nigerian Communications Commission, which mandates a switch to the end-user billing model. The move overrides earlier notices from some banks that had initially pegged the start date for June 3rd. Under the new system, USSD charges will be deducted directly from users' airtime at 6 naira 98 kobo per 120 seconds. Users will be prompted to opt in before billing, and only successful sessions will be charged. These telecom operators say will eliminate double billing and improve customer experience. Previously, telecoms billed banks under a corporate model that led to frequent disputes and service disruptions affecting millions of users. Banks are now expected to notify customers about the new billing system and educate them on the changes. While the transition may affect how users access mobile financial services, other digital channels such as apps, ATMs, and internet banking remain fully active. The shift is part of efforts to deepen financial inclusion, especially for underserved communities. The billing update also follows ongoing efforts to resolve a long-standing 250 billion USSD debt between banks and telcos. And now, the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, has blamed pharmaceutical companies and marketing authorization holders for delaying updates to its Green Book, the online registry of approved medical products. At a sensitization workshop in Lagos, NAFDAC's Director of Post-Marketing Surveillance, Fraden Beatrice, speaking on behalf of Director General Professor Mojisola Adeyeye, said many registered products remain invisible on the Green Book platform due to incomplete data submissions. He warned that this delay hampers public access to information and undermines regulatory transparency. Beatrice described counterfeit drugs as a man-made evil driven by greed and highlighted NAFDAC's ongoing efforts from TV campaigns and newspaper alerts to digital verification tools aimed at protecting consumers. He also introduced the 2024 Pharmaceutical Products Flexibility Regulation, which mandates a unique identifier on every regulated product in Nigeria to allow full tracking across the supply chain. Still in the news, lawmakers in Lagos State House of Assembly have adopted a bill aimed at improving land management through technology. The proposed law seeks to establish the Lagos Geography Information Service to harmonize all land-related data using a centralized computerized system. It is expected to enhance transparency, prevent illegal access to geography data, and promote spatial innovation in the state. The bill, which was first debated in March, underwent further scrutiny and a public hearing before its final presentation. Presenting the committee's report, Chairman Ogunkelu Oluwadahunsi said the new system will integrate governance with technological advancement and boost service delivery in land administration. The House unanimously adopted the committee's recommendations as its official resolution. And lastly, on the news, oil prices pulled back slightly in Asia trading on Wednesday after a 4% surge in the previous session. Brent crude dipped by 0.5% to $76.10 per barrel, while U.S. West Texas Intermediate fell by 0.3% to $74.61. The market remains on edge over potential disruptions from the Iran-Israel conflict, particularly in the Straits of Hormuz, which hurdles about a fifth of the world's seaborne oil. Iran, a major OPEC producer, pumps around 3.3 million barrels per day, but analysts say spare capacity among OPEC Plus members could offset losses if Iranian exports are disputed. Despite current concerns, technical and analysts see bullish potential for oil due to geopolitical risks and low speculative positioning. And that's the Media News on SOUQ News Television. We say many thanks for watching. Do not forget Business Landscape coming up after this time. I am Grace Komalafe. Stay tuned.
In life, the path to success is often windy and filled with obstacles. However, it's only those who exhibit courage to continue that are reckoned with. If there's one man who is armed with the sheer courage of a lion, the unusual foresight to spot the opportunities, Michael Adenuga makes the perfect reference. The name Mike Adenuga is synonymous with entrepreneurial excellence and tenacity. A self-made billionaire hailing from the heart of Africa, Adenuga's story is one that is laced with the threads of perseverance and ambition.
Today, I really feel excited.
Against all odds, Adenuga has risen to become one of the wealthiest individuals on the African continent. His knack for spotting business opportunities and the courage to seize them has led to the creation of a vast empire that spans telecommunications, oil, and real estate. But what truly sets Adenuga apart is not just his wealth, but the indomitable spirit that has propelled him to the pinnacle of success. His journey is a powerful narrative of a man who, despite the odds, has managed to carve out a niche for himself in some of the most competitive industries. From his humble beginnings to his rise as one of Africa's most influential business figures, Adenuga's story serves as a beacon of inspiration for aspiring entrepreneurs everywhere. Born on 29th of April 1953, Mike Adenuga's story begins in Ibadan, Nigeria, a vibrant city steeped in culture. Ibadan was the backdrop for Adenuga's early years. His father, a school teacher, and his mother, a businesswoman, were humble, hardworking individuals. Their influence on young Adenuga was profound, instilling in him the values of perseverance, integrity, and ambition. Adenuga's early education took place in Ibadan, a local school where he exhibited a sharp mind and a keen sense of curiosity. His parents, recognizing his potential, encouraged him to pursue his studies with diligence and tenacity. These formative years laid the groundwork for the titan. Despite the modest means of his family, Adenuga was never deterred. He understood that the path to success was paved with perseverance and a relentless work ethic. From an early age, he demonstrated a knack for entrepreneurship. His first ventures were modest, grounded, mirroring the reality of his circumstances. One of his earliest jobs was as a taxi driver. This experience was more than just a means to an end. It served as a classroom on wheels, offering lessons in humility, resilience, and the importance of understanding people from all walks of life. Adenuga's entrepreneurial spirit led him to explore the avenues. He started selling soft drinks, an endeavor that required long hours under the scorching Nigerian sun. This venture was not glamorous, but it was honest, and it was his. It was a testament to his commitment to hard work and his refusal to shy away from the gritty aspects of business. From taxi driving to selling soft drinks, Adenuga was no stranger to hard work. This commitment to labor, this willingness to roll up his sleeves and get his hands dirty, laid the foundation for the empire he would later build. His story is a powerful testament to the fact that success is not an accident. It is the result of hard work, sacrifice, and most of all, love of what you're doing or learning to do. His journey began with an education in the United States where he studied business administration. But it was his return to Nigeria that marked the start of his entrepreneurial journey. Adenuga dove into the world of business with a daring spirit and a keen eye for opportunity. He ventured into trading of lace materials and other commodities, a business that was booming at the time. His ventures were diverse and often bold, including the distribution of Coca-Cola within Nigeria. These early business pursuits were not without their challenges, but they provided Adenuga with invaluable experience and a taste of what was to come. However, the road to success is often marked with unexpected twists and turns. For Adenuga, one of these came in form of a military coup in 1983. This event shook the nation and its effect reverberated through the business landscape. It was a setback that would have derailed his ambitions, but Adenuga was not one to be easily deterred. In the face of adversity, he demonstrated tenacity. He weathered the storm, navigating through the tumultuous period with an unvarying determination. It was during this time that Adenuga began to lay the groundwork for what will become his future empire. He was building a foundation, brick by brick, on which he will erect a business dynasty that will span across several industries. Regarded as a titan in the telecom industry, Adenuga is the mastermind behind Globalcom, Nigeria's second largest telecom operator. Under his visionary leadership, Globalcom has grown exponentially, connect billions across West Africa and beyond. In the oil sector, Adenuga holds the majority ownership of Corn Oil, one of Nigeria's largest oil exploration companies. Corn Oil has been instrumental in shaping Nigeria's energy landscape, and its success is the testament to Adenuga's strategic acumen and drive for innovation. When it comes to wealth, Adenuga's net worth is nothing short of impressive. The billionaire businessman ranks high on the Forbes list of Africa's richest people, rubbing shoulders with the likes of Aliko Dangote. In 2003, Adenuga revolutionized Nigeria's telecom industry with the launch of Globalcom. This was a pivotal moment, not just for Adenuga, but for the nation as a whole. Before Globalcom, Nigeria's telecoms industry was dominated by a single player, but Adenuga had the vision to democratize telecommunications, making it accessible and affordable for all. Globalcom entered the market with a bang. The company was innovative, offering unprecedented services like per second billing, which was a first in Nigeria. This level of innovation was a game changer, challenging the monopoly of the existing telecoms giant and forcing competitors to step up their game. But Adenuga didn't stop there. He knew that to truly disrupt the industry, Globalcom had to grow rapidly. The company embarked on massive network expansion projects, erecting thousands of kilometers of fiber optic cables across Nigeria and beyond. In less than a decade, Globalcom has grown from a new entrant to a major player in the telecoms industry. Its services reached millions of Nigerians, even in the most remote corners of the country. Adenuga's entrepreneurial spirit didn't stop at telecoms. In fact, his business acumen was put to the test in a whole new arena where he took over Corn Oil, Nigeria's first indigenous oil company. Under Adenuga's leadership, Corn Oil expanded beyond its initial operations, becoming a frontrunner in the Nigerian petroleum industries. It now boasts a strong presence, not only in exploration and production, but also in downstream operation, such as the marketing of refined petroleum products. Yet, Adenuga's ventures didn't stop here. With a keen eye for lucrative opportunities, he delved into the world of real estate, immersing a portfolio of properties that spanned the globe, from commercial buildings in Nigeria's bustling city centers to luxury residences in some of the world's most sought-after locations. Adenuga's property investments are as diverse as they are extensive. Banking, too, has felt the Adenuga's touch. He has been instrumental in shaping the industry, contributing to its growth and stability. His influence and investment has helped foster a banking sector that is robust, reliable, and ready to serve the needs of Nigeria's growing economy. But Adenuga's impact extends beyond the world of business. His philanthropic endeavors are a testament to his belief in giving back to the community.
Well, that's a special man to me. A very special person. That is a man that made my path, my ways very smooth. That's a God-sent person to me. Dr. Mike Adenuga Jr. somebody that I will continue to thank, to appreciate, and to continue to pray God to help him, to give him long life and good health. Well, decades of our relationship, way back in the 80s, Rafi Ladipo was a nobody, but through the help of Dr. Mike Adenuga Jr. and God's grace and blessing, I am what I am today. I owe it all to God and indeed Dr. Mike Adenuga, my second God. I'm close. I know him as a man that loves to assist his friends. Even if he's angry, he will come back and call his friend. This is the way it is done. So for me, my knowing Dr. Adenuga Jr. has been a blessing.
Through the Mike Adenuga's Foundation, he has donated billions to causes closest to his heart, including education, health, and social welfare. He has founded scholarships, built schools, and supported hospitals, underscoring his commitment to improving lives and empowering future generations. In essence, Adenuga's business journey is not just about creating wealth, but also about creating value.
Several years back, the Nigerian League had no sponsor. And it took me less than 1 hour to get Dr. Mike Adenuga Jr. understand that he needed to help football to grow. I just called the then president of the league, the late SOUQ Obaseki. He met me at the National Stadium and was feeling very sad. And he said he was going back to Abuja. I asked him why. He said because he was not happy. Only yesterday, he got the biggest disappointment of his life. That a company that had agreed to sponsor the league had reneged, and they were no longer ready to sponsor the Nigerian league again, unless they cut the agreed amount, the initial agreed amount between the National League and their company, unless they cut it into two. And he asked, how will he now prosecute the league? I said, you can't prosecute the league. I'll get you a sponsor. Are you ready to go with Glow? He said he knows nobody in Glow. I said, I am Glow. And I quickly called the group CEO, Mr. Mohammed Jamil, and I asked him, wouldn't you want to sponsor the Nigerian League? He said they want to, but they don't know anybody on the Nigerian League. And I gave my phone to SOUQ Obaseki to speak with Jamil. The man who was going to Abuja, who was ready to fly to Abuja, changed his mind because of what he had. The Glow was ready to sponsor the league. And pay much more than the initial agreed amount he had with the other sponsor. That agreement took just 24 hours. And Dr. Mike Adenuga paid a sum of 610 million naira to sponsor the league. And of course, every year, there is always an increase of 10%. Recording. So that was how the Nigerian League got sponsorship through Globacom. And to all of us as Nigerians, we need to thank Dr. Mike Adenuga.
His diversification and expansion strategies have not only multiplied his fortunes, but have also contributed significantly to Nigeria's economic development, job creation, and societal welfare. In the world of business, especially at the grand scale that Mike Adenuga operates, it is not uncommon to come face to face with challenges. His path to becoming a billionaire was not always smooth. He had his fair share of obstacles, some of which were marred by controversy. On such instance was the legal issues he faced in the early years of his telecoms venture, Globacom. There were disputes over licensing and allegations of non-compliance with industry regulations. The Nigerian government was not always his ally. At one point, he found himself in a standoff with regulatory bodies. But what makes Adenuga's story remarkable is not just the controversy he faced, but the resilience in the face of adversity. He didn't allow these obstacles to deter him. Instead, he used them as stepping stones, turning the negative into a positive. His legal troubles were not just an obstacle, they were a test of his character. He passed with flying colors. Adenuga fought to clear his name and to ensure that his business complied with unnecessary regulation. This commitment to integrity has been a cornerstone of his success. Despite the disputes with the Nigerian government, Adenuga never lost faith in his homeland. He continued to invest in Nigeria, creating jobs, contributing to the economy. Indeed, the path to success is never easy. It is filled with trials and tribulations. But as Adenuga's story shows, it is not the challenges that defines us, but how we respond to them. Through it all, Adenuga has remained steadfast. His success, a testament to his resilience. Mike Adenuga's story is one of determination, ambition, and unparalleled success. As we delve into the legacy he has built, we uncover a narrative of resilience and visionary leadership that has left an indelible mark not only in Nigeria but across the continent and the world. His journey from taxi driver to billionaire magnate continues to inspire a generation of entrepreneurs who dare to dream and strive for success against all odds. Adenuga's contribution to the Nigerian economy are monumental. His businesses, from telecoms to oil and gas, have created thousands of jobs, fueled economic growth, and contributed significantly to the country's GDP. His generous efforts, too, have transformed lives and communities, further cementing his legacy as a leader who not only builds businesses, but also uplifts society. The respect for Adenuga is universal. From world leaders to business leaders, many acknowledged and admire his entrepreneurial acumen, his relentless drive, and his unwavering commitment to excellence. His name is synonymous with success, and his story is a testament to the power of vision, hard work, and tenacity. Mike Adenuga's story is a testament to the power of ambition. His journey from the humble beginning of taxi driving and petty trading paints a vivid picture of what tenacity can bring. He treaded the paths of uncertainty and risk, but his unyielding spirit guided him through the challenges. His ascent to the pinnacle of success, becoming one of Africa's wealthiest individuals, is an inspiration.
But they look at like singing one song. It's a miracle walking God. It's a miracle walking God. He's the Alpha and Omega. It's a miracle walking God. He loves him.
My name is Shino Ogbadegeshin. I'm the CEO of Gozi Micro Insurance. Continue to watch SOUQ News.
Adenike Adeyemi, Executive Director of Faith Foundation. Keep watching SOUQ News.
My name is Shepherd Michael Adewale Onofuye. I enjoy you all to always watch SOUQ News TV.
Hey everyone, Majuli Obaje here representing Gigi. Keep watching SOUQ News, okay? Stay updated with SOUQ News.
My name is Arton Kene. I am the head of MSME Banking. Please keep watching SOUQ News and stay glued to SOUQ News.
I recommend that more and more people should watch SOUQ News because they deal with business news.
Hi, my name is Amaka Wokolo. I am the director of the Faith Institute at Faith Foundation. Keep watching SOUQ News.
Take Nigeria because it's the mind that needs to first of all be rebranded.
Idris said he's going to be putting Nigerian labor, Nigeria content and materials first.
If you say Nigeria first and it is just us down here that, you know, are pushing that agenda, it's going to be a big struggle.
Do you think Nigerian firms, Nigerian organizations should start looking at getting their staff involved in this market or buying to keep for their staff? Within this side, let's also learn citizen diplomacy, see something. This is SOUQ business landscape.
Hello and welcome to SOUQ Business Landscape, your weekly analysis of Africa's dynamic economy where policy, capital and innovation intersect. On today's edition, we spotlight 4 compelling developments shaping Nigeria's financial and industrial outlook, from a continental startup boom to strategic energy imports, and from youth-centered financial inclusion to oil market turbulence sparked by Middle East conflict. Welcome once again. And we have normal but dynamic 3 musketeers, men and a lady amidst us. Hello, Omobola. You want me to call you Obalende? I will. Welcome to the program.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kumali. Good afternoon. It's a pleasure to be here. But the musketeers can be, a female can be a musketeer.
Oh, great.
Yeah, I just need to put that out there.
I just wanted to, accord you that space.
For my feminist people.
Accord you that. Yes, and to Chooks with his Googles.
You're my third eye. Good afternoon. And thanks for being here and welcome to SBL. I like the Obalende part. Please, the one that is close to the federal housing. I would like it.
That's what he calls me. I don't think he wants. I don't think
you don't own the place.
I don't think he's interested in actually even knowing the difference. But it's fine.
Olumide, you're welcome to the program.
So glad to be here. Olumide Shokoya.
Yeah. Before we came on, she said you look like a banker.
So chill.
Okay.
So chill.
So that's how every Nigerian should feel.
For others who are not, chill and cool like Olumide, please take a cue from him. Now, let's move on. A peep into our stories for today. Nigeria ranks 3rd in Africa's startup funding with over $162 million raised by innovators in just 5 months. Our second story borders on a development finance institution of the federal government. Credit Corp launches Youth Cred, targeting 400 young Nigerians from inclusive credit access. Then we move to crude import paradox. Now, despite being an oil producer, Nigeria is importing or has imported 1.19 trillion naira worth of crude oil in the first quarter of 2025 due to refinery feedstock shortages. And lastly, geopolitical risk from the Israel-Iran standoff pushes global investors into oil stocks, with implications for Nigeria's oil market and forex inflows. We will begin with our first story. But before then, let's go on a break. When we return, we'll jump into the business of the day. To stay with us.
Take Nigeria because it's the mind that needs to first of all be rebranded.
It said he's going to be putting Nigerian labor, Nigeria content and materials first.
If you say Nigeria first and it is just us down here that, you know, are pushing that agenda, it's going to be a big struggle.
Do you think Nigerian firms, Nigerian organizations should start looking at getting their staff involved in this market or buying to keep for their staff?
Within this side, let's also learn citizen diplomacy, see something. This is SOUQ business landscape.
My name is SOUQ Badegeshin. I'm the CEO of Gozi Micro Insurance. Continue to watch SOUQ News.
Adenike Adeyemi, Executive Director of Faith Foundation. Keep watching SOUQ News.
My name is Shepherd Michael Adewale Onofuye. I enjoin you all to always watch SOUQ News TV.
Hey everyone, Majuli Obaje here representing Gigi. Keep watching SOUQ News, okay? Stay updated with SOUQ News.
My name is Aton Keme. I am the head of MSME banking. Please keep watching SOUQ News and stay glued to SOUQ News.
I recommend that more and more people should watch SOUQ News because they deal with business news.
Hi, my name is Amaka Wokolo. I am the director of the Faith Institute at Faith Foundation. Keep watching SOUQ News.
Elon Musk is a visionary entrepreneur leading innovative ventures in technology, space exploration, electric vehicles, and renewable energy. Musk was born on June 28, 1971 to a South African engineer and his mother, a Canadian model and nutritionist in Pretoria, South Africa. His talents for computers and entrepreneurship emerged early, and at age 12, he created and sold a video game. Musk studied physics and economics at Queen's University and the University of Pennsylvania. In 1995, Musk founded Zip2, sold to Compaq for $307 million. He also co-founded X.com, which became PayPal, acquired by eBay for $1.5 million in 2002. Driven by a vision for humanity's multiplanetary future, Musk founded SpaceX in 2002, developing affordable rockets to support International Space Station mission and NASA's Artemis program. He became a major investor in Tesla 2004, launching electric vehicles like Roadster, Model X, and Model 3. Tesla unveiled the Cybertruck, beginning deliveries in 2023. Musk acquired X, formerly known as Twitter, in 2022, aiming to enhance future and transparency. Musk has at least 12 children from multiple relationships, including Justin Wilson, Tallulah Riley, Grimes, and Siobhan Zilis. Through SpaceX, Tesla, and other ventures, Musk shapes technology and innovation globally, and his influence extends beyond business into politics and culture.
At the African Development Study Center, ADSC, we are committed to driving sustainable growth and development across Africa through innovative.
Take Nigeria because it's the mind that needs to first of all be rebranded.
It said he's going to be putting Nigerian labor, Nigeria content and materials first.
If you say Nigeria first and it is just us down here that, you know, are pushing that agenda, it's going to be a big struggle.
Do you think Nigerian firms, Nigerian organizations should start looking at getting their staff involved in this market or buying to keep for their staff.
Within this side, let's also learn citizen diplomacy. See something. This is SOUQ business landscape.
Welcome back. Many thanks for joining us. Now to the business of the day. Nigerian startups have secured over $162 million in funding from January to May 2025, ranking the third among the highest recipients of investment on the continent. According to the latest report by Africa, the big deal. The report showed that Egypt led with over $332 million, followed by South Africa with $273 million, while Kenya came fourth with $132 million. Overall, African startups raised over $1 billion over this period, outpacing 2024 by 7 weeks, driven largely by fintech, health, tech, and energy ventures. The majority of the funding came through equity, that's $810 million, with debt accounting for $130 million. Alongside smaller shares from grants and bonds, fintechs led the sectors, attracting 46% of all deals, while Nigerian mobility startup Move is reportedly set to raise $300 million, which could push it to a unicorn status. The development signals growth, investor confidence in Africa's innovation ecosystem, with Nigeria remaining a key destination despite tighter global investment trends. That is it. So, first of all, $810 million from the $1 billion mark. It looks, and that was actually funded via equity. And where debt will now go up $130 million. Chooks, this story specifically, what actually get to your attention?
What gets my attention is how you do really want to hear what gets my attention. Okay. But now let's keep what gets my attention to this particular story of the day. These are all private businesses to start with. So for celebration to happen, or we get to see this sort of headline, I really don't look at it from the point of celebrating. Now, from what you were reading, if you analyzed, you see that, okay, equity was given a percentage, debt was also given a percentage. That is a minus to start off with. For these businesses that have come to the point of being able to bid, drop a proposal, or they have their lineup, or over time, people that want to invest have seen that the capabilities and their capacity and put their money down to support these businesses or invest these businesses is a good one. Now, the figures that are coming out is still a bit low. Now, when we want to show up things, we call the entire Africa. It's not helping us. You said 1-point-something billion. That was what Africa raised in startup funding. This is what a single company will raise outside this client for funding from the same source of investing that is coming out of this country. So I think it's time that we support our own first. When you put your money down in the businesses on the ground, it's easier for people to see that, okay, this business is going to thrive, and they will put their money down. It's also easier for you to sell in the long run. A lot of people start up businesses, not just to grow the business, but to sell the business, especially in the tech space. From Elon Musk, that's what he did till SpaceX, till, what's it called? The car company. Even the car company, he also bought. It's not as if he started it from the scratch. I don't know if you understand. So this is where Africa should start looking at innovation, innovation, innovation. What can we innovate? Or what do we have that we can put money down that others want? And we really need to support businesses. Businesses that can really bring in the money and not politics, not geographical leaning, not language leaning, not country leaning. So you imagine what SpaceX is doing for the entire US economy as we speak.
Okay, but Omobola, I see Nigeria coming up with $162 million. I think for startup, I would want to give them a thumbs up.
Well, excuse me. Actually, it is a thumbs up. It's something good. It's something exciting. That's actually the pro to it. It is a thumbs up. Although coming in third, because you still have other countries who are training, who are going forward with it. However, my only concern, or my major, not only because I have other concerns, my major concerns, equity is also, especially foreign equity. We seem to hope we're not going to be over-dependent on that. But my major concern would be there's a lot of attention on the fintech sector. And I feel like there's a whole lot of other sectors that are underrepresented at this point now. That's why I said it's a good one, 162, yes, it's a good one, for fintech, for mobility and all of that. But I just really, I feel like there's so much more we can do for so many other sectors. And if we can diversify the funds a bit, so other sectors, all the other underrepresented sectors can come up and scale up. It's a good one. It is a good one, but I just feel like there's so much more that can be done, and why the focus is on fintech.
On fintech. Okay, but fintech, even in NASDAQ 500, fintech is bailing the cat.
We are in the age of technology.
So
That's
I expect that we should be approaching that light too. I am even surprised. Okay.
No, we're in the age of technology. I get it, but we also need to understand the peculiarity of our environment as well. Okay?
And the person investing.
And the person invests.
Why he will invest in fintech? Because it's easier to get his money back.
Okay, there you have it.
Okay, so Olumide, your perspective.
That's what she was trying to tell you all this while.
Well, just like you said, Nigeria ranking third among others. It's a good thumbs up, but we can do better. And I think one of the ways we can do better is just like you said, we diversifying. Apart from fixing the infrastructural problems, we also should diversify into green energy, agriculture, education, logistic. But Chooks also said that why people are looking into tech is because
but we can digitalize this thing.
It's one of the quickest assured way of getting your money back. Either ways.
How about to mechanize farming? We can actually.
Yes, but there are a whole lot of problems.
We can take up some of this
in Nigeria.
But those problems are business opportunities.
Yes, exactly. The point of
insecurity is a business opportunity also.
Providing solutions to problems.
You said insecurity.
Yes, it's a business opportunity.
Now, insecurity gave us Tantita. Even if you argue with me that Tantita might also be a problem. Insecurity gave us insecurity.
Thank you for that.
Insecurity gave us G4X. Sadly, G4X is a foreign national company.
No, but sadly as well, do you know how much we are spending on Tantita?
That's what I wanted to say. Hold on.
4 billion every month.
How much are we spending? Let me not use your word. How much are we now spending on those security firms that are from outside this country? We've not thought about that. But these are all foreign security firms. But most people don't see them as foreign security firms. Well, that is what they are. How much are we spending on security votes that nobody accounts for it?
Okay.
So this is where we need, this is a problem. Well, now let's start having Nigerians come up with business opportunities that will address some of these problems. So imagine if somebody has develops an app and partners with maybe someone that has a satellite up there, and you can monitor your farm at any point in time to see every heat wave.
I mean, agrotech is also becoming something.
See any heat wave around your area.
So if we're looking at
you will subscribe to it, won't you?
So one area I wanted to take, because when you were mentioning diversification, I was looking at, okay, tech is in education, tech is in agriculture, said, tech is even in the medical industry. Medtech. So it's there because recently they just performed a surgery where an American surgeon through a robot carried out a surgery here.
You don't even need to go that far. In Africa, if you're going to go with our climb in Africa, let's not go that far. There are apps that can diagnose certain things without you having to go to the hospital. So if you can't afford to go to the hospital, but you have a smartphone or even have a phone that you can just dial a code and type the symptoms that you're feeling, and it would say, okay, these are the possible you know, ailments that you could have and recommend drugs and all of that. Of course, certified, not just random apps, you know, apps that are licensed, certified from pharmaceuticals that, you know what they are doing. All right. So I just feel like if since we have agreed that, okay, the world is going tech, everything is going tech and everybody's on their phone, well, we might as well just make things easier for people. If I can be in the United States of America and I can monitor what's going on in my house in Nigeria,
yes,
then I should be able to also see how my crops are doing in the farm. I should be able to know when, you know, my cocoa will be harvested, when my plantain will be harvested, and then, you know, make plans and all of that. So I just feel like there's a lot,
that tech brings
way too much attention on fintech.
On fintech. Okay, so not long after I left school, or maybe probably immediately after I left school, I worked in a car sales shop.
You did?
Luxury car sales. I think I worked there for maybe 2-3 months.
And you got a
sports car? So what I wanted to
He does look like a car salesman, though.
So what I saw was that, what you said, the owner of the business was in the United States, and it monitors the staff who comes to work, who doesn't come to work, because he has CCTV there, and, you know, we're just, so I just wanted to bring that in and
yes,
see
even in education as well.
Yes.
Mr. Kumale,
Yes.
people are working from home now. People can learn from home as well. But
Yes.
you know, exactly. But just as he said, because it's also very important for us to pay attention to the person funding, or the people funding, or the organization that is funding this particular, and like he said, it's from equity. We also need to look at foreign equity. I feel like there's an overdependence on that as well.
If we're looking
that's
at
another
that,
concern of mine.
so do you classify it? Do you classify it because equity funding is kind of, or for $1 billion is coming at 810? That's almost 80% or more than 80%, a little bit more than 80% of the funds going there. Is that a disadvantage? Why are we not considering the fact that if tech is dominating that space, we should have more of those tech companies who should be listed into the market?
Quick question: the day that company, because all these startups are looking at 90%, 100% of them are private companies, started by a group, one person, or now the day that company decides to list, and God forbid that this amount of equity is coming from outside this country. That day, you're either going to be a board member or an OES member.
Okay.
Even if you started the company.
External influence is going to come in one way or the other.
It's not going to come in. It's going to take over.
It's going to, and then capital flows.
The day that company goes on the exchange.
The moment you have external presence so strong.
These are things you really need to consider. That's why if you go to, Doc keep mentioning Dubai, you can't buy a property or start a business without the participation of citizens in that country. Okay. So even the person doesn't even know jack. As long as you're bringing in 100%, then you divide, either you bring in 40, they will bring 60.
Okay.
Or they'll find money and find, okay, ACMA, so take 60%, go and join that company.
You know,
so these are things our government should start looking into.
Don't get us wrong. It's not like, you know, foreign equity is not...
It's good.
It's amazing good. Because it shows that there's strong investor confidence in Africa or in our country or in our startups. It shows that, you know, there's strong... But however, I just feel like overdependence on foreign equity is also something that we should try to balance a bit. You know, let's have people in here as well coming on board and saying, okay, I want to, let's put money together and let's do this, you know, and let's make things work and all of that. Because at the end of the day, capital flight, external influence, and so many other concerns. And then you also have...
buying up, now let's get to the extreme, buying over the company.
Okay, but that's where I'm coming.
Take over. But that's where that is business. It's take over.
How do you now encourage our own?
It's not difficult. It's not difficult. Now,
just
governments have policies.
Just yesterday, Mr. Kumale was excited that
problems and all that.
Free trade zone is bringing plenty people. I feel like whatever, you know, the incentives, some of the incentives that these people get for, you know, doing business in this free trade zone, some of them, when you see certain individuals that can, you know, show up to a certain criteria, you should be able to also give these people some of those incentives to make them want to invest, you know, in that particular industry.
Okay. Okay. Yes.
Look at startups now. You were talking about why fintech. Now, let's also ask ourselves this question: if we have startups in the agri sector that happen to function directly with the ground, have you asked yourself why they're not getting that much funding from outside? Because 90% of the labor is happening here. Employment is happening here. Built as a structure is happening here. So they can't lift that and go away. So this is where we should also start looking at, okay, good, how can we get these people funded? If we can't get that funding from outside, then the government can put in some money and say, okay, good, we've put in this amount, come invest this amount. Okay, then for those coming from outside, we should have a direct policy from government where no investment should go more than 65% of the company.
Okay, so Mr. Chu,
put a cap to it.
Okay, just in a way of putting a cap to it, is it not also a demonstration of business intelligence when the startups, the owners, the local owners of the startups who want to bring in foreign equity into their businesses, not to gather all the equity from one entity or from one source? Because if you do that, that will automatically transfer ownership from there to the owners who are bringing the money from abroad. Even if it is a consortium, don't go with a consortium. Go with independent entities where you have to get $100,000 here from. And so if you put that together, you steal the major shareholder and every other person that is fragmented. Right?
From where?
From where?
That's another question you have to say. So whoever is investing, where are they from? Are they from here?
No, we are talking about the
local owners.
The foreign
local owners, right?
Yeah, the local owners. Yes.
Local owners.
Getting the money.
No.
Those that have the money that is being dropped in that business, where are they from?
Okay.
Where are they from? No,
how does that affect? Why does it matter?
Okay, let's go back to what's happening here in Nigeria. First Bank Holdings. We've had this fight for a very long time about Deco and his brother. Not far, they are very close. But see how long it took for the guy that is focused on getting it to keep buying up shares until he had an agreement with these people to transfer their shares. $1. Now imagine if it's me that is here in Lagos and 60-70% of the equity is coming from the US.
Okay.
They will just have their meeting one day and they'll call me via phone, not even via mail.
I just feel like before you go into, the business and the agreements and everything, then you have your legal team on ground. You have your legal team on ground. They go through your contracts and the contracts of agreement, the terms of agreement. Exactly. I mean, it's make it airtight. Thank you. Make it airtight. Look through it, everything, and ensure that long term, your interest
is protected.
It's protected. Not just for you, not just for yourself, for the members of your staff, the people working with you.
Yes,
and also one way or the other for our dearly beloved country, Nigeria.
So one thing,
no matter how airtight it is, it's business.
Just a moment.
They always find loopholes.
Yes, finding loopholes. Yes. There are businesses that before you sell your shares in that organization, the board of directors will be in the know, and they have they have to make the decision what the party you are selling to, if it is a worthy person to be brought into the fold.
It's not like that in all companies.
For companies that are
and you can't just transfer ownership.
Exactly. It's not like
that becomes difficult.
That actually.
That becomes difficult.
But the truth, we're grateful. It's good. It's amazing. It's
we welcome it.
We welcome it, but. I just feel like our government as well needs
to protect our people
to do more. Our business climate, our economic climate.
Can't to be specific. They should do more to protect our people.
Okay. All right. They should do more to protect our people. Great. Well, we are going to our second story, but we need to take a breather. We'll be back for it. You stay with us.
Take Nigeria because it's the mind that needs to first of all be rebranded.
Idris said he's going to be putting Nigerian labor, Nigeria content and materials first.
If you say Nigeria first and it is just us down here that, are pushing that agenda, it's going to be a big struggle.
Do you think Nigerian firms, Nigerian organizations should start looking at getting their staff involved in this market or buying to keep for their staff?
Within this side, let's also learn citizen diplomacy. See something. This is SOUQ business landscape.
Lawyers are concerned about several issues when it comes to artificial intelligence, AI, including data, privacy, compliance, and job displacement. Will AI really take jobs away from lawyers? In this special report, Bayo Olaoye addresses one of those concerns, job displacement for lawyers, as a result of the introduction of artificial intelligence. Will artificial intelligence make lawyers jobless? The short answer to that question is no. There are 3 reasons why AI will not take away jobs from lawyers, according to experts. First, AI systems being developed for the legal industry are primarily co-pilots. Secondly, there are numerous tasks AI simply won't do because legal implications prevent it. For example, litigation. AI cannot make court appearances unless, of course, nations radically change their constitutions to allow robot lawyers to stand in court, which is highly unlikely. Additionally, for lawyers involved in strategic work, such as security, meeting new clients and existing ones, or serving on boards, AI cannot replicate the human touch. AI lacks the commercial acumen required to build relationship with clients and navigate complex problem-solving tasks. AI cannot engage in the strategic aspects of legal work that require understanding human behavior, negotiating, and making judgment calls. According to experts, AI systems built for the legal industry are designed to function as co-pilots, helping lawyers become more efficient but still requiring human oversight. For instance, AI can draft a clause for you, but as a lawyer, you must ensure that the clause makes sense. AI can assist with tasks like legal research, drafting legal documents, contract review, and identifying red flags. However, human involvement and judgment remain essential, as all systems, particularly large language models, can sometimes be confidently wrong. Despite its potential to assist in many areas, there are numerous tasks AI will not do for lawyers, either because it lacks the necessary capabilities or because it is unnecessary. Some might argue that AI makes lawyers more efficient. A law firm that would typically hire, say, 8 legal associates annually might now only need 5, using AI to assist those remaining associates. While that may be true in some cases, it does not necessarily mean lawyers are losing jobs, as AI will create new roles and open up career paths for lawyers, according to AI industry experts. For instance, AI companies build products for lawyers, require legal professionals just as much as they need AI researchers and engineers. Lawyers are domain experts who know the pinpoints and can guide the development of legal AI tools. In addition, there is the need for lawyers who will build a career in AI governance, working on AI policy auditing, AI existential skills, and AI enlightenment. In fact, lawyers will play a bigger role in AI governance than we can ever imagine. For instance, the AI alignment problem is one of the biggest challenges in the industry. There is ongoing research on whether we can solve the alignment problem using the law. As it is known, law is the most democratic aggregation of human values. How do we evaluate the ability of AI systems to follow the law? Or how do we ensure that AI systems do not misinterpret the law in case of unforeseen contingencies? Humans have the Supreme Court to interpret laws when faced with complex scenarios. What will be the Supreme Court for AI systems? These are questions that require both lawyers and AI engineers alike to ensure compliance. In fact, universities are recognizing the growing need for lawyers to build careers in AI. Many institutions are now offering master's programs that focus on intersection of artificial intelligence and law, preparing the next generation of legal professionals for the evolving job market. To wrap up, while the rise of AI will undoubtedly transform the legal profession, it will not cause the widespread job loss that many fear. Instead, AI will make legal teams more efficient and open up new career paths for lawyers. Bayo Olaoye for SOUQ News.
Tafawa Balewa Square, TBS. Tafawa Balewa Square was initially used as a horsing ground called Lagos Race Course. The edifice was constructed by General Yakubu Gowon in 1972 and named after Nigeria's first Prime Minister, Sir Tafawa Balewa. Tafawa Balewa Square is located at 45/57 Masi Bangboshe Street on Lagos Island, Lagos, and referred to as TBS. TBS is a 50,000-seater capacity venue and houses the Remembrance Arcade, the 26-story Independence House, which at a time was the country's tallest building. When Lagos served as the country's seat of government, the National Assembly Complex was within the TBS. Also in the square are the National Broadcasting Commission Office, the Nigerian Hydrological Services Agency Office, shopping centers, travel agencies, restaurants, car parking lots, and a bus terminal. Tafawa Balewa Square is adorned with beautiful statues of white horses and red eagles, symbols of strength and dignity. Our historic neighbors include the King's College and the Holy Cross Cathedral. Tafawa Balewa Square hosted some of the country's memorable events, such as the Independence Day in 1960, when Nigeria gained independence from Britain, the Armed Forces Remembrance Day, which is celebrated annually on January 15. The edifice is a national cultural asset. Tafawa Balewa Square, SOUQ Enlightenment. The National Theatre, Igomu. Built during the military regime of Olusegun Obasanjo and finished in the time for the Second World Festival of Black Arts and Culture, FESTAC, in 1977. The theatre holds amazing treasures and memories. The artworks fill everyone with pride. The National Arts Theatre is visible from the motorway which connects Lagos Island and the mainland. The National Theatre is packed with the artworks of a legendary contemporary Nigerian artist, stained glass walls by Yusuf Grillo, sculptures and murals by Lamidi Fakeye, Erabo Emopai, and many others. It was put to full use for a month as one of the 4 venues of the Second World Black and African Festival of Arts and Culture, tagged FESTAC 77. The complex hosted 16,000 participants from 56 African countries and the diaspora in an unprecedented showcase of African music, fine art, literature, drama, dance, and religion. The National Art Theatre was built and designed by Techno Experts Troll, a Bulgarian company mirroring the Palace of Culture and Sports in Varna, Bulgaria. Completed in 1976, the building is one of the largest and most beautiful of its kind on the African continent. It consists of a central hall with 5,000 seats, a collapsible stage that can be quickly rebuilt, a conference hall with 1,600 seats, 2 large exhibition halls, and 2 cinemas with 800 seats each. The theater complex has a dressing room for artists, a garage, offices, coffee bars, and a buffet. It has indoor TV and radio systems, as well as booths with facilities for simultaneous translation of languages and hectares of large green lawn around. The majestic structure sits in Igomu like a quiet mountain, mesmerizing visitors and passers-by. The National Theatre, SOUQ Enlightenment.
At the African Development Study Center, ADSC, we are committed to driving sustainable growth and development across Africa through innovative training and research. Our mission, empowering leaders, policymakers, and professionals with the tools they need to create lasting change. With customized training, dynamic research programs, and study exchanges on leadership, management, and other critical development topics, ADSC offers a platform for exchanging cutting-edge ideas and global best practices. We provide comprehensive services in research and consultancy, capacity building and training, education programs, publishing and knowledge sharing. Our esteemed faculty, composed of seasoned experts and researchers, ensures a learning experience that is insightful and practical. We specialize in policy development, implementation strategies, and monitoring and evaluation. At ADSC, learning is engaging and enjoyable. Our unique methodology includes talks, interactive exercises, games, video screenings, and lively seminar discussions, all in a comfortable and friendly environment. For more information, email us at info@adstudycenter.com or call +234 912 039 2362. Visit our website, www.adstudycenter.com, to explore our programs and upcoming events. Africa Development Study Center, rethinking development for Africa.
Take Nigeria because it's the mind that needs to first of all be rebranded.
Said is going to be putting Nigerian labor, Nigeria content and materials first.
If you say Nigeria first and it is just us down here that, are pushing that agenda, it's going to be a big struggle.
Do you think Nigerian firms, Nigerian organizations should start looking at getting their staff involved in this market or buying to keep for their staff?
Within this side, let's also learn citizen diplomacy. See something. This is SOUQ business landscape.
Welcome back. Many thanks for joining us on the program. Now, as part of its broader efforts, Credit Corps also unveiled the Youth Cred Initiative, targeting 400,000 young Nigerians beginning with NYSC members. The scheme will provide consumer credit to individuals aged 18 to 35 in partnership with banks and tech companies. Youth Cred is a generational investment in trust, financial confidence, and inclusion, said Mrs. Olanike Kolawole, Executive Director of Operations at the Credit Corps. She noted that Nigeria needs around 183 trillion naira in credit to drive inclusive economic growth and emphasize the need for strong private sector involvement. So far, the credit initiative under President Tinubu's administration has benefited over 100,000 Nigerians, mostly civil servants, in under a year. According to Credit Corps, the long-term goal is to reduce corruption, create jobs, and grow the economy by giving more Nigerians responsible access to credit. Okay, so running business anywhere in the world without credit, there's going to be, I don't want to call it a bottleneck. The SMEs, the informal economy, they are going to suffer setback. And when they suffer setback, as long as third world, I'm not calling us third world, as long as African nations or evolving economies are concerned, because the economy, this is the powerhouse of the economy, they're going to suffer severe setback, and that is going to have a very, very unpalatable story.
You know what's worse than poor funding?
Poor funding.
Yeah, or not having, funds. You know what's worse than that?
Well,
what's worse than that is having funds and not knowing the right thing to do with it. I feel like when this money is going to be rolled out, are there going to be capacity building programs, financial literacy programs?
I mean, I trust our youths. They know certain things. They know none of that. But I don't know. Like, implementation is my own headache about this. While it is good, let's support people. I don't know if this is a long-term thing. That's another question. But I feel like the implementation is the major issue for me here in this particular initiative. We've seen Empower. We've seen there's one
cash transfer.
Let's never go into that one. They said it was an intervention, but it's okay. Let's not go into Uncle's borrow program because according to some people, they said they use it to buy form. But let's not dig deep into that. But the point is that we've had Empower, we've had the other one, something Win.
You Win.
Is it You Win or Why Win also? We've had,
Did you guys get all these monies that you are calling? You know specifically the names, acronyms, and
some people got Empower money.
We know them. We know them. They were,
You shared part of them.
I know them.
When we say we know them, it was on public domain. Everyone can see them. We could see
Do you know a single person that got this money?
We could see the government,
rolling out the money
and promoting this idea. So, Chooks, the where I want to specifically talk about this issue is for us to relate it with the informal economy.
With the informal economy, okay.
And how this will benefit the informal economy and by extension the Nigerian economy.
Okay, most times you calculate poverty rate based on money in the hands or in the pockets of citizenry, in the hands of people. So is it that money in their hands, how strong is it to buy what they really need to survive? But at the same time, we look at the money in their hands, is it for consumption or for investment? These are things we also need to ask ourselves. Credit score is telling us that this is consumer credit. And they are looking at 183 trillion consuming money. That's a little above $1 billion. So, except if maybe I get to read and study again, I get to see that, good, this is business loans or small business loans. Now, who are the target? Young people from NYSC and all that.
Civil servants are also
civil servant, which means it's not business money. It's consumption money.
Well,
all right. So
I didn't dash them the money.
Now you have to
credit. Now it's credit. Pay back because you have to pay
back. It's
difficult.
Okay. It's difficult. Is a bit difficult getting credit paid back, even in the countries where they live via credit. From time to time, they get to you max your card, and the government does some intervention and cancels some credit.
Uncle borrow.
All right.
That was the dash money. Okay.
Exactly.
So now, this is where we are as a country now. Now, we are not looking for consumption money. We're looking for monies that can't start businesses. Money people can take and go and farm.
So
money people, a woman can take and start an akara joint somewhere, or start a kose joint somewhere. Money people can take and multiply. Because if this person takes this consumer money and the NYC boy, girl is not working right now, and you put money in his pocket, he's going to spend it and come for more. Then when you can't give him, what happens? These are things we should be looking at. It's not making the person happy in the short term. Long term, what's the plan?
Okay, so just a moment, please. Yes, Olumide.
So, Youth Cred, as is known, it's a 6 billion credit program, and it's supposed to offer between 100 to thereabout. Now the major thing now is financial inclusion, credit, credit education. So, according to reports, before receiving this loan, the member must have completed a digital financial literacy, covering budgeting, credit scores, and responsible borrowing. So that is that, to educate you that, okay, this is what and what you need to know, and you must have that financial literacy before you can have that. Now, also, yes, just like Chuk said, it's mainly for consumption because it's supposed to address real needs like rent, furniture, electronics, transportation, and all that.
How much are they giving them?
That's what it's mainly to meant for and all that. So, but what I see about all this is anything that has to do with loans in Nigeria. It's we all know the era of the loan sharks and what they do. But from the report, it's supposed to be a single-digit credit facility. So
single-digit credit facility.
So it should enable people to be able to pay back easily.
Okay. All right.
So how do you determine who gets?
Okay, please, just
anybody that is between 18 and 35.
Just a moment. Yes. I want to make this very, very constructive. In the other crimes, in places like Canada, in the United States, they have credit cards they give to their citizens for them to spend the monies in that, and they have to pay back.
They don't give them, you apply for it.
They give.
No, you go.
Yes, no, because it is available. Even for
it's available here in Nigeria.
You have to apply. So this is a similarity of the credit system because this is for consumption. Credit card is not given for investment purposes.
It depends.
So if this youth credit, if they are accessing such credit for investment, that's their own. That's the way they want to spend it. So I am making comparisons because we have this existing in other climes that we are trying to make emulate some of the systems. Can I just a moment? Are you real? Okay. Some of what is happening in those places. So what's the difference between the credit card in operation in those climes and this one? And this
is different. Now, if we take the US for example, before you pick up a credit card, it doesn't matter who you are, a student or not, somebody that number is attached to, I won't call that particular number, is tax paying, has an address.
Tax identification number.
Tax paying, meaning you are working.
You have a number, doesn't mean that you are paying. But there, you are tax paying. Either you or whoever that number is assigned to.
Why are you scared of saying social security number?
Okay, good. So now you heard it. Before, I don't have one, so don't even look at me. So you have a social security number, that is what, and you have an address, a fixed address to be specific. Now, the tax pay means that you have a job.
You have a job, yeah.
So those two qualify you to get a credit card. And there is a max on that credit card.
There's a cap, yes.
Now, it doesn't matter how long.
The cap is based on you, though. You are the one that would choose your cap, your limits. Yeah.
Sometimes the kind of job you do and what you earn.
Yeah, it's based on you.
Then now, this is the front side of it. As long as you've not paid, there's an interest on it. So it doesn't matter how long it takes. You could start a card at 50,000, and by the time you are 80, you are owing the state over $1 million, and they will come for their money. Except maybe a president decides to come up one day and say, okay, for those in Florida, let's forgive them.
That's student loan.
That really happens.
It's not exactly.
All right.
So but we here in Nigeria, we've seen a case whereby even the money that was given for people to go and farm, people went to go and marry 2 wives. Then the politicians that went to write names of their entire local government people to collect one particular government intervention didn't give the money to the people that the fund were meant to get to. Okay. So now, how are you going to account for this 183 trillion? The money big.
All right.
It's a lot.
Okay, so whilst I know you have something to say, so probably maybe whilst you're addressing that, you could also make references to what I want to say. There are conditions. I'm sure the federal government is not just going to give out 183 trillion or 186 trillion naira without setting some conditions in place for you to get back the money from those that are going to access that credit. Just the way you mentioned that in the credit card system in the United States, there is a cap.
I think that's why it's targeted
so there's a cap.
Specific age.
The specific age from 18 to 35, including the NYSC.
The core members.
The core members. We also have, through the BVN numbers, people's accounts can be traced. Through the NIN numbers as well, people's accounts can be traced. So are we saying is it that the conditions here are not available, or even though we have the conditions and the instrument to trace whoever is owing the government to be able to get back our money, is it that the political will or this money is indirectly looted by politicians and they now lie that they've given it to 100? So which one do you think?
Corruption. Thank you. Corruption is a major factor.
Transparency also.
Transparency, accountability. Because now, first off, who are the people that how are they going to decide the people that are going to give this money? Some sometime last year, and that's why the Humanitarian Affairs Ministry has been under heavy scrutiny in the past few years, because we keep saying, oh, we're giving relief, we're giving palliative, we're giving relief. How do you choose these people? How do you choose these households that are entitled to this 5,000 naira? How do you choose them? The other day they said they have a register that they are working with. How did you, the social register? How did you get, we have a data problem, we have implementation problem, we have corruption problem, we have trust deficiency, we have, the fact that somebody would say, okay, you will use people's names. That has happened to a former colleague of mine. She was told that she collected money. She's not the one, but they used her name, another account number.
Well, we have to blame ask the financial
services. That's what I'm saying. So the implementation. So what are the things that what's the criteria? It's not enough for you to tell me that, oh, you must be between 18 and this age. You must be a core member. You must be this.
How do you even determine if the person's age is actually correct?
It's not enough.
But there are documents.
There are documents, Mr. Kumale. I have been an ad hoc staff for...
Sorry, I know. So there are documents. Your certificate of birth, your age declaration. If you are told to provide your national identity card or your NIN slip, all these are instruments that could give away your age to the regulatory authority.
I like that. Thank you very much for bringing that in. And yet, years ago, some 10, 15 or so years ago, they came up with BVN and said, oh, it's for insecurity. We're going to fight kidnappers. Kidnappers are still collecting money by transfer in this country. Why are we not using BVN?
No. We are talking about this case because you were talking about age.
What I'm saying is that we have not used it for the purpose that they've used it for. It's now what they call it. There's GSI now. There's GSI. What GSI is meant to is, if this person is owing money in any financial institution, yes, all other financial institutions
are aware of it.
Will be aware, and the institution you are owing has a right to go and pick the money. Are we?
Okay, so I think that would be contrary to law. The reason why I'm saying that is this: what I know.
No, you sign it. No. When you're opening an account,
just a moment. Now, what I'm aware of is that there are people who are owing banks and financial institutions, and probably through the instrument of the NIBSS, maybe it's a Nigerian Interbank Settlement System, maybe through that,
those ones are responsible for transfers.
They will know that you are owing Bank A or Bank B. So if you want to go and take another loan from Bank C will be able to determine, to know from the system that, look, you're already in debt, you're owing Bank A and Bank B. I'm sorry, we can't advance this loan to you because you're unable to pay.
That's because Bank C would check your credit score on credit bureau.
Yes, okay. So in that case, I'm aware of that. But if you say the Bank A, because you are owing Bank A and you have money, lots of money with Bank C will now want to access your money in Bank A to get it. Because these are entities. Bank A is an entity. Bank B is an entity, and so if Bank A leaves that financial institution to access your account when you have not given express permission, that would be a criminal offense.
You need to relax. That's why I said that in some account opening documents in most banks now, they add it. The GSI is there. You sign it.
Yeah,
and that's why we need to start reading.
For some banks, I've seen that happen before. If you're owing Bank A, for some banks, and Bank A take it up, Bank B
take it up.
Bank A definitely will take it up.
Bank B, no, because I need that clause to be clear. And Bank A take it up with who?
Who else? Is CBN that is in charge?
Takes it with CBN. Now, so that means Bank A does not have the unilateral authority to approach Bank B to access your fund.
No.
Just a moment, I'm trying to get this with you. Bank A does not have the unilateral authority to access your money.
Nobody has authority to access.
Nobody. So even if I don't think the GSI form can cover for that, because without the intervention of the Central Bank of Nigeria, which is the bank of banks.
they go ahead and get your money from
CBN
issues
that order.
Now,
If CBN issues that order, sorry, Mr. Sorry, please. The reason why I'm saying that because the Central Bank of Nigeria is an establishment of that by the Act of Parliament. And so it is required for any other bank that will want to do that to make sure that it gets expressive order from there because it is backed by the Constitution of the Federal Republic. Yes, you can go on. I just want to settle.
Now that has happened several times and it still happens to some banks. Okay. But for some banks, I don't know how they do it. They are not part of that particular system. Their strong head is strong.
Strong head? In what sense?
They are strong head. If you are Nigerian and if you understand Nigeria, they are strong head.
Strong head in the sense that they will break the law to access your money in another account.
No, they don't let
I just want that to be. I just want that to be.
The GSI is very clear. No,
hold on. No, you can't tell me to hold on.
The information.
Sorry, please.
The information needs to be clear.
Wait. We need to maintain order on this table.
Yes,
please.
and the information you are putting out. The information you are putting out needs to be clear.
Just a moment, please, just a moment. We need to maintain order on this table, okay? Thank you very much.
But the information you are putting out needs to be clear.
I'll be back in the short moment. Just stay with us.
Take Nigeria because it's the mind that needs to first of all be rebranded.
Idris said he's going to be putting Nigerian labor, Nigeria content and materials first.
If you say Nigeria first and it is just us down here that, are pushing that agenda, it's going to be a big struggle.
Do you think Nigerian firms, Nigerian organizations should start looking at getting their staff involved in this market or buying to keep for their staff?
Within this side, let's also learn citizen diplomacy. See something. This is SOUQ business landscape.
The Three Wise Men. Iconic sculptures and statues adorn major metropolitan cities of the world. In Lagos, Nigeria, the statue of three men designed to depict the state's cultural heritage and to usher in visitors and tourists into the ever-accommodating center of excellence is no doubt an astounding work of art. Originally built under the administration of Colonel Raji Rasaki, designed by Bodun Shodende in 1991 and standing over 12 feet high, referred to as Agba Meta or Aro Meta, the three sculptured chiefs were placed along the Lagos-Ibadan toll gate to welcome people coming into Lagos State. The statue called the Three Wise Men by many has become a major signature for the state. Three white-capped chiefs clad in white wrappers knotted across their shoulders and with clenched right fists are shown in the artwork. The images fascinate and create impressions in the minds of visitors coming into the state, captivating the attention of visitors who look with keen interest, pondering on the messages which the posture of the engraved images signifies. The Three Wise Men has been relocated thrice from its original position at Ojodu Berger end of Lagos-Ibadan Expressway to Magodo area before its final relocation to its present site at Olowopopo Drive. The sculpture has suffered severe damages over the years and renovated. Bodun Shodende, through this sculpture, depicted the highest honor that can be afforded to anyone in the eco-greeting tradition. The Three Wise Men, Arometa, SOUQ Enlightenment. The National Theatre, Igomu, built during the military regime of Olusegun Obasanjo and finished in the time for the Second World Festival of Black Arts and Culture, FESTAC, in 1977. The theatre holds amazing treasures and memories. The artworks fill everyone with pride. The National Arts Theatre is visible from the motorway which connects Lagos Island and the mainland. The National Theatre is packed with the artworks of a legendary contemporary Nigerian artist, stained glass walls by Yusuf Grillo, sculptures and murals by Lamidi Fakeye, Erabo Emopai, and many others. It was put to full use for a month as one of the 4 venues of the second World Black and African Festival of Arts and Culture, tagged FESTAC 77. The complex hosted 16,000 participants from 56 African countries and the diaspora in an unprecedented showcase of African music, fine art, literature, drama, dance, and religion. The National Art Theatre was built and designed by Techno Experts Troll, a Bulgarian company mirroring the Palace of Culture and Sports in Varna, Bulgaria. Completed in 1976, the building is one of the largest and most beautiful of its kind on the African continent. It consists of a central hall with 5,000 seats, a collapsible stage that can be quickly rebuilt, a conference hall with 1,600 seats, 2 large exhibition halls, and 2 cinemas with 800 seats each. The theater complex has a dressing room for artists, a garage, offices, coffee bars, and a buffet. It has indoor TV and radio systems, as well as booths with facilities for simultaneous translation of languages and hectares of large green lawn around. The majestic structure sits in Igomu like a quiet mountain, mesmerizing visitors and passers-by. The National Theatre, SOUQ Enlightenment.
Take Nigeria because it's the mind that needs to first of all be rebranded.
Said is going to be putting Nigerian labor, Nigeria content and materials first.
If you say Nigeria first and it is just us down here that, you know, are pushing that agenda, it's going to be a big struggle.
Do you think Nigerian firms, Nigerian organizations should start looking at getting their staff involved in this market or buying to keep for their staff?
Within this side, let's also learn citizen diplomacy. See something. This is SOUQ business landscape.
Hello Nigeria, hello Africa. Yeah, this is Sound Man. Keep watching SOUQ News.
My name is Babalola from Excel LED. Keep watching SOUQ News.
My name is Shepherd Michael Adewale Onofuye. I enjoy you all to always watch SOUQ News TV.
Hi, I'm Tom Boggaballs, and please keep watching SOUQ News.
Wale Seriki, SLG Lagos Island East, SOUQ News. Keep out watching them and keep a lookout for them. They're up and coming, and we're proudly to be affiliated with them.
You alone where they make me go crazy. This your love in the cool of my brain. You're my medicine, I need you all day. Yo, it's Blackface Nigeria, and you're watching SOUQ News TV. Keep it locked on this dial, don't change it. You know what I say? Blackface Nigeria, love no bad.
Take Nigeria because it's the mind that needs to first of all be rebranded.
Said is going to be putting Nigerian labor, Nigeria content and materials first.
If you say Nigeria first and it is just us down here that, you know, are pushing that agenda, it's going to be a big struggle.
Do you think Nigerian firms, Nigerian organizations should start looking at getting their staff involved in this market or buying to keep for their staff?
Within this side, let's also learn citizen diplomacy. See something. This is SOUQ business landscape.
Welcome back. Many thanks for joining us on the program. Now we move to our third story, rather. Nigeria imported crude oil valued at 1.19 trillion naira in the first quarter of 2025 due to insufficient domestic supply to refineries. According to the National Bureau of Statistics, the imported crude ranked as the 3rd highest imported product, trailing gas, oil, and motor spirit, which reached 1.83 trillion naira and 1.76 trillion naira, respectively. The United States led Nigeria's crude suppliers with 726.84 billion naira, followed by Angola and Algeria. The persistent crude import reflects the inability of local producers to meet the demands of domestic refineries, pushing operators to source feedstock internationally, despite Nigeria's daily crude production exceeding 1.4 million barrels per day. I didn't want to have this conversation because Chooks will be raising his shoulders and be saying, I told you before, I've made this case clear on this table times with that number. And because when we're talking about issues like this...
You won't listen.
No, it's not that I won't listen.
But
it's
you
just
won't
that
listen.
you won't listen.
Okay, now let's go back to what you said. What I told you before.
No, please go on. What is your...
Did I or did I not
please
tell you?
Please go on. I'm not going to answer that.
You won't answer, okay. Now, this, as we speak now, we are still paying back debts thanks to natural products for loan that Buhari took. Let's start calling out names already. Buhari took, and as we speak, we are not too sure how long we are going to pay that. So the President Tinubu, whether he likes it or he doesn't like it, he must pay.
Nigerians are the ones paying. It's not even.
It's the government that is paying. We are the ones that are bearing the brunt of the payment. So let's everybody gets their compartment. Now, we still trying to do 1.6 million barrels officially, and still paying and still making money for government. Now we have people who happen to be citizens of the country that should come first. Now, these citizens of the country are being serviced by a Dangote refinery. Let's look at ourselves and tell ourselves how it is us. Learn Nigerian language. Now, Dangote had to import from outside this country. What is the solution for this? We are looking for dollar up, dollar down, dollar left. And just yesterday, there was discussion on this table about Nigeria pumping in $500 and something million to try and stabilize the naira. Yet we are going to import crude. Crude, I'll say this, I almost started shouting. This is enough to bring out honorable members and think tank and economists and flog them in the market. I'm a traditionalist. So
we are not going to flog anybody.
No jungle justice.
It's not jungle justice. We traditionalists, we know what we're talking about. We cannot continue like this. The money we don't have, because do you think he's going to buy from Angola or buy from the US in Naira? No. He's going to take that same dollars that he's going to source from either the black market or the CBN if they are in good terms. Or that particular 500 and something million that you think they dropped in there. Some people benefited more. So he's going to take it and go and buy crude from outside. Nigeria is losing. Time, Nigeria is losing. Jobs, we are creating jobs outside for things that are right beneath our feet. Not even refining. Crude itself is shameful.
How did it get so bad?
It's shameful.
Sorry. How did it get so bad that we have to be buying from Angola, from Algeria?
I have no idea.
She's feeling bad.
It's just what it is.
Feeling very bad.
Olumide, your take, please.
Well, while we look at the problem, I also like to look at the solutions here. So what do? We already know what we're supposed to do. Prioritize local crude supply to refineries, stabilize forex.
But when you prioritize, which are they going? With
the new initiative, what do they call it? Either you drill, if you're given a license and you don't drill, it's been taken back and all that.
Hammer on it.
Okay. Yeah, yes, that's one of the things. That's what it means also to localize and all that. Of course, straighten pipeline infrastructure, transparency in fuel pricing. We had a bit of rancor when Dangote and NNPC came about and what not, how much fuel is going to be and all that. But, at least we've gotten out of that, Then we also have operation efficiency of local refineries. I would also like to put in that, why not let's have a local reserve in this country?
A local reserve?
Yes.
Okay.
That would also help. Because when you look at every other thing, it's like we know what we're supposed to do, but we just keep avoiding it. And I don't want to go into politics of this whole thing. So we know what we're supposed to do. There are a whole lot of things we're supposed to do, but we do not do it. Then again, we can also diversify.
Diversify how?
Yes. We can move into CNG, LPG, electric mobility. We can do all this.
We are looking for crude for refineries.
Okay.
So how is diversification going to work?
We are looking for crude for refineries. Now, there's a quota that the NNPC is giving to Dangote.
It's not enough.
Well, of course, that is why he sourced from Algeria and he sourced from Angola himself. there's a quota that he needs to give
Our
to the
OPEC quota, we are not even meeting it.
modular refineries. But it's not OPEC's fault that we are not meeting it. So
I'm not even talking. I'm saying the OPEC quota, we have not even met it yet.
Yes, but there are stories where we actually discussed last week, where the MNOs, the multinational oil companies, they are leaving the shallow water assets, selling them to local companies, and moving on to deep shores.
Yes. Let me point
and you and Doctor and Olumide were the ones singing the song that this is going to lead us from meeting 40% local
Can I puncture this talk of yours? We get to see this. Google technology has made it very easy right now. If you look at the landscape of Texas, you see some pump machines that look like those olden days pump machines. You just see them going up, down, up, down. These are drills. These are not just drills. These are family-owned drills. I don't know if you understand. These are family, community-owned drills. You just see them littering around a whole landscape. They are drilling oil. It doesn't matter how small. This is where we should be right now. If Shell says he's coming to Nigeria, Nigeria should tell them, go to the sea and go and drill.
Okay.
But those other places that is not that difficult, Nigeria should prioritize Nigerian companies that can drill it. That way we will drill more and put into the national, whatever they decide to call it. We don't have enough to sell and make foreign exchange. We don't have enough to give our local refiners. And we still have
given licenses to do this. Local companies have been given licenses. In fact, some of them actually bought some of this asset from the multinational oil companies, international oil companies.
As we speak right now, we're having a transition. We're having an oil transition. As we speak right now, Nigerian companies, Nigerian local companies, let me take that word, as in based companies originating from here, are giving 50% of oil drilled in Nigeria. By now,
we should not attained 50 yet. Yes.
By now, we should be above 80. Any major conglomerate that is coming into this place should go into the deep waters and go and drill.
Okay. Just
also make it easy for other people to drill on their land. If there is oil on a barrel, which there is oil on a barrel, why should I be waiting for a Shell to come and drill it, or waiting for an Adrax to come and drill it? When we know that there's enough technology to, even if you are drilling one drum per day and adding to the total, it's something.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Chooks. Now, our next story is not so far from what we are currently talking about. And it's talking about investors are shifting from bonds to energy stocks as tension between Israel and Iran escalate. Rising geopolitical risks have increased demands for oil assets, with companies like Exxon, Chevron, and BP attracting safe haven flows. Analysts say that oil potential for sharp price spikes makes it a stronger hedge than traditional fixed income securities during this crisis, with threats to the Strait of Hormuz raising fears of supply disruption. Oil prices have already surged. Market strategists project further gains if hostilities continue, while equities linked to energy production are becoming key defensive plays for investors seeking stability amid Middle East uncertainty. Chooks, we're having this conversation before we started the program earlier today, and I was surprised. Iran is a major oil producing country as well, and it's being hit. The price of oil is going up.
Definitely the price of oil it still follows that supply and demand. When there is more, the prices drop. When there is less, the prices go up. Now, when there is forecast of probably major issues, the prices will also go up. Now, the beautiful thing about the stock market is this. Stock market is all about information. What moves the stock market sometimes might not even be the actual actions themselves, but a premonition of something that is about to happen, and that is what is happening right now. If you look at the every oil index right now, they are all in greens.
Okay.
People are putting their money there for short term, looking at what is happening between Israel and Iran, and what Iran can do on that particular stretch of shipping line logistics, and what they've threatened to do. For sure, their oil facilities have been hit, so production for them is going to go down. But somebody has to
explicitly
come up.
The oil facilities have been hit explicitly
Definitely.
because the target has been the nuclear sites, the missile facilities.
They are also targeting.
And the
They are also targeting the economy.
Oh, okay, fine. So, Olumide, what's your take in this story?
Well, just like Chooks rightly said, it's just a short-term profit for most of these people. As long as this war in what do you call it?
Israel and Iran continues.
Yes, the oil prices will go up. But once diplomacy, once they come back to the table, it will settle. So for those who are in the business, it's a time for them to make quick money.
Okay,
not just even Bola.
Let me assume
Get into the market right now and put some money.
You bought some of those markets. Let me assume you bought some of it.
Okay.
So when do you think is the best time you would like to sell? If so that it doesn't look like
give and take right now. Let's say I take money from Bola. She was just trying to do a transfer, and I put it on some oil indices. I'm just going. Let's say I put it right now. It's short term. It's not long term. I'm just waiting for it. Just keeps rising. It keeps rising. It now depends on what leverage am I taking, because this is the stock market. I can decide to just go 1 or 10p or 100 or 1,000. If I can take the risk. So it's go in, clean out, come out. If you go in and you get stuck, sorry, you lose.
Okay, so in any case, if Israel decide to resume talks today with Iran,
gradually
might
things will start normalizing. But another question we should start asking ourselves, we Africans, what is Nigeria doing now? What position are we taking? Because it's supposed to be profit for us.
Yes.
We are oil producing. So how is it affecting our NNPC and the dollars that are supposed to be coming here? These are questions we should be asking right now.
All right. I think this is a good place for us to draw the curtain on the program. It's been a robust moment having the conversation of business, economy, and development within the continent of Africa, specifically Nigeria, and of course we went offshore to look at the United States and the relationship, the current conflict going on between Israel and Iran. Until we'll come your way again next time, do well to follow us on all our social media platforms at SOUQ News Television for more updates on these stories that we've taken a look at today. I am Oyin Priye Krumale and Mr. Chooks.
Yeah, my name is John Rogers. Chooks, be nice, be friendly, and leave fighting alone.
Okay, yes, Olumide.
It's been a pleasure on SOUQ Business Landscape. Join us again tomorrow. I am Olumide Shokoya. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Okay.
Good afternoon. I'm Momobola Sandra.
Thanks for watching.
Take Nigeria because it's the mind that needs to first of all be rebranded.
Idris said he's going to be putting Nigerian labor, Nigeria content and materials first.
If you say Nigeria first and it is just us down here that, are pushing that agenda, it's going to be a big struggle.
Do you think Nigerian firms, Nigerian organizations should start looking at getting their staff involved in this market or buying to keep for their staff?
Within this side, let's also learn citizen diplomacy. See something. This is SOUQ Business Landscape.
Well, thank you once again for inviting me over. What would I say? Just doing a lot of wonderful things all over the world, working towards development of humanity in the areas of most especially sports development, football management, football administration, and other businesses I'm involved in. So that's what I've been up to. Well, basically, the National Sports Commission is there to ensure that sports development is put in a proper perspective. There are a lot of papers, a lot of policy papers, a lot of things that have been put in place. So they need to go into it, look at it, and structure something positive out for the development of sports in the country. I'm sure they have all what it takes to do it, and the zeal and the power to go ahead and put those things in place. So that's basically what they need to do. How the implementation is key. And I know, well, one way or the other, they should have the wherewithal to do it. So I wish them all the best. Well, you see, I don't like criticizing. I think I've gone away from areas of criticizing, but the standard of the league is very poor. And they have to put all efforts together to improve on the league. Also, the technicalities of the game, the manpower. We have to, we're still doing what we practiced 15 to 10 years ago, so it's not changed. So all those things have to change. We have to go away from the mediocre ways of running the game and put in more investment in development of the game itself. And the clubs have to be, it's so sad that we in Nigeria prefer to watch the Premier League compared to the Nigerian Premier League. It's a sad story. I remember 40 years ago, you could go to the stadium and watch our local, amateur league, and there were standards. So there's no reason why we can't bring that back. It's the wherewithal, the willpower to do it, and the stem from, having to go away from the area of mediocrity, where we bring in professionalism. We have the people that can do it, without any doubt. But for the system to allow them come in and do those things is another question. How that is going to be done, we've talked about it for many years, but nothing has been done about it. I pray and I hope someday they'll put up the proper perspective and the willpower to do those things. When it comes to grassroots football, we really have to start with kids from a very early age. We must have we have to start with them from age 5 to 16, to 18, to 20. So you have to have a sequence, a system where you build around from the very younger ones, and you have a uniform structure. Number one, we have to identify the kind of football we want to play in Nigeria, our type of role, our ethos, what we want to play. And then we can now imbibe that, put it in our kids from a very early age. So from age 5, you go under 5 to under 8, under 8 to under 12, under 12 to under 16, under 16 to under 18. You have those structures in place. And it's spread around the nation. Now, where it's not the under 5 or under 18 where you put a 20-year-old or 25-year-old. We have to have a system where those kids are registered and we can monitor them from a very early age. You understand me? Where we don't cheat, where we bring in the right age and we train them to perform at different age group levels. And going into from there and then going into the national sides, so we can start playing the under 10, under 15, or under 16, under 18. You understand me? So those structures have to be in place, which we don't have today. There must be uniformity. You understand? So if we can do that in the future, we will progress. But there must be a system in place. We must have coaches that have been trained to work with the kids from that very early age. And those coaches are trained within the system, within the Nigerian Football Federation, and then they're sent out to work with those children all over the nation. The football academies we have today are only out to sell players. You understand me? So what I'm saying here is where we have, I'm not saying academies shouldn't sell players or not. Those players in the academies, if we have uniformity, should be playing in the league. And then we must have a cap where we say, look, until you're a certain age, you can't leave the country. You must play in that league because we've invested in you. We've invested in those kids. So maybe they will have to play till they're 20 or 18 or 19 where they can now go out, you understand, to play abroad. But there must be a structure in place. and there must be laws guiding it. That's the only way we can excel. It also goes to it also goes back to what I've been saying. The girls, the female team in Nigeria today, I believe the girls, I call them girls or ladies, are the ones that will ever win the World Cup first. They got the capacity. They got the women football. They can win the World Cup. They've got what it takes. But then it now goes back to our attitude and the corruption in the system. You understand me? If you allow the other girls from a very early age develop, and you have the same system I'm talking about, that cap of under 5, under 8, under 10, and you structure and you do it continuously in uniformity, we will be world beaters. We will win the World Cup at any given time because the women have got the grit. They pick up very faster than our men. They tap the balls. They are more technically better, within that range. So, but it's for us to develop those things and to take away corruption. First, when we talk about indigenous coaches, what coaches do we have? You see, if you don't have a competitive league, a highly professional league, how do you want to get good coaches? You can't get good coaches. The coaches, it's not that we don't have the capacity to build good coaches. We have a lot of talents in this country that can be world beaters, that could be top coaches. I talk to young stars. Young stars will talk to you about the technicality of the game. They're very bright. Even my son, when he talks to me about football, I think he knows the game better than I do today. The technicalities of the game, you understand me? The formations, how players play back and forth. It's because you've given them the exposure. And we need to give our young stars that exposure. We need to develop them. That's what we're not doing. We have to invest in them. But for now, we have not done that. And what we're doing today is those bunch of coaches we have are not good enough to run the national team at that level of competition. I have one or two of them in America that are sound, they're there. But how many of them can you bring into the system? You understand me? Our local coaches, we need... National Institute of Sports. Now, please, let's forget about the National Institute of Sports. That, I use a word, it's been alamalized. That's a very poor system. It has nothing, we have nothing there. I'm serious. I'm not running anything. Our National Sports Institute is a disgrace. So we shouldn't be talking about that. Yeah. If you want to talk about a National Sports Institute, and you go to Australia and other countries, and you see what it is. You see the standards. We don't have those things. Ours is archaic.
Is it beyond redemption?
There's nothing beyond redemption. It can be, we can work on it. We can develop it. We just have a time frame, work around it. See, there's nothing we cannot do in this country. We got everything possible to do it. It's the wherewithal. Do we have that mindset to do it? Are we ready for it? Those are the things we have to look at. Or do we want to continue with our mediocrity? But really, sincerely speaking, there's nothing impossible. We can do anything here. We've got great youngsters. We have to remove all this old, archaic way of thinking and then bring in a more modern, professional approach to things. So that's it. Media is one of the most corrupt anyway, I'm sorry to say. The sports media and all that, the sports writers. I worked in the system, I know how corrupt they are. Majority of them are corrupt. I'm saying it. They can challenge me, but it's the truth. Until we get rid of all those things, where our boys go and collect envelopes to write or favor people, we're not going to get anywhere. I'm not saying the press, but the sports writers are a disgrace. See, the supporters club is not going to do anything or develop football. This is just to travel, get things. Oh, it's fine. It's good to have fans. But what has that got to do with football development? Nothing. Supporters club is not going to do anything. They're playing their own politics. You understand me? They want to travel. That's it. Travel around the world, do things. But is that part of football development? That is not football development. So let's leave that aside. We're talking about the professional, the technicalities, what it takes to develop national sides or a proper league. Then the supporters club has nothing to do with it. Do you see, how many people do you see at stadiums in Nigeria instead of watching football? Scanty, there's nothing. It's not like in the days where in the 70s or even in the 60s, if you are going to play a game at 4:45 in the afternoon, the stadium is full to capacity at 11 in the morning. You don't have that anymore. So what are we talking about supporters club?
So we can bring that back, that passion.
Yeah, if you build a league that has the quality, the professionalism, and all the standards are put in place, then you can bring them back. Then you can bring the crowd back. I think it's very unfair to call it lesser sports. All sports are tops. Yeah, it's very wrong to call them. They're top sports. Basketball is tops. Athletics is tops. It's very wrong. I think it's very unfair to call them lesser sports. See, bottom line is the politics, the greed. You understand me? We have top